series to help people feel a little bit more comfortable about sewing with PDF patterns. And so unlike some of the other sew alongs that I've had, I've been trying to put out a lot of prep videos that really just help people kind of chunk by chunk understand like what are the things that I need to know. And so a lot of the information that we put out about prepping for the PDF pattern is not just specific to PDF patterns. It really is going to help you sew with any pattern that you might sew. So I'm just going to wait a little bit. We see people hopping on. Happy Friday for those that are joining. We have a guest co-host today.
Hi.
Okay. Add to the stage. Oh, okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Julian. Hey, Tanya. Can you see the comments, Danesha?
I'm about to click on it right now.
Okay.
Oh, there. Yep. Hi, Julian. Hi, Tanya.
Hi,
Hi,
Roxanne.
Roslyn.
Welcome. We are so happy to see you here. Happy Friday. Hi, Miss Alethea. Welcome. We are so happy to see you here. So for those that are just joining, this is week 2 of our beginner PDF pattern sew-alongs. Our goal is really to have with Black Sewing Network, is to really have a beginner-friendly month and to focus on all types of beginner-friendly things. And so I have I've grown to love PDF patterns. I've found some ones that really just match my style. And so it's something that I was a little fearful of when I first started sewing. And so my thought was, hey, let's focus on it this month. And so unlike some of the other sew-alongs that I've done, I've been trying to do a lot of prep videos. And so if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see there are prep videos there. And that just kind of help you, guide you along the way, how to put the PDF pattern together, things you need to know about PDF patterns. This week, we talked about, we're doing a PDF pattern, but we're also focusing on the serger. So you'll see some prep videos on, how to thread your serger, because that's often another obstacle that people face. But before I get into too much stuff, I also want to introduce my co-host.
Hi.
I'm so excited. So, Danesha, I'm going to hand it over to you to tell a little bit about yourself. And
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Danesha of Classified Life. I am super excited to be here. I have made a couple Roxanne dresses already. So when LaShawn told me that she was going to be making this dress, I was like, oh, absolutely. I would love to join you. This is one of my favorite patterns right now. And I'm very excited. I'm getting into YouTube. I want to use this platform to share more sew-alongs, to go live, to connect with my community. I've been sewing for 10 years this month, actually. So I think it's time. I think it's time to share my knowledge. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much, Danesha. I'm so happy to have you here. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Dee. Hi, Marilyn. We are
Jazz.
here, and yes, Tanya, I'm so glad that you set your notifications because again, we're happy that you are here. So we're gonna dive into it, but before we do that, I just want to talk about a couple of other things. If you plan on sewing this pattern after the fact, I think it's really, and if you're new to PDF patterns, please make sure that you check out the beginner-friendly sewing with PDF patterns. Actually, Danesha, about 3 or 4 months ago, just happened to do this video. And so I was so happy because I was going to create one. And I thought, no, I'm not creating the wheel. I watched Danesha's and I was like, she checked all the boxes about the key things that you need to know. Yes, you did a great job. So if you are new to PDF patterns and this is your first or second one, or you just want to know some tips, please go and watch that video. It is on Danesha's YouTube page. Classified.
I'm going to drop the link if I can real quick.
Oh yes, you can drop the link on YouTube, and then we'll make sure that on the other platforms, like we do post call, that we kind of do like, hey, let's a follow up. These are the questions that you have. Hi, Tydri. Hi, Larisha. Tell me if I'm saying your name right. Welcome. I'm just excited You said you've just been sewing for 2 months and you are so excited. Well, I'm excited that you've been sewing for 2 months, and I'm happy that you're here. If you are sewing along, please do not hesitate to drop your questions in the chat. If you plan on sewing after this, if you want to watch this and see how it goes, and you plan to sew it afterwards, and you have questions along the way, please don't hesitate to drop those in the chat. The great thing about dropping it in the chat is that it will be forever there, particularly on Facebook and YouTube, because as you know, the videos stay, indefinitely, because we don't plan to delete them. So they will be there. So that's the first video. Make sure you watch the beginner friendly PDF patterns by Danesha. Also, Danesha did a prep video for this specific dress. And so she talks about some of the key things. The other thing is that while we're going to be sewing this dress using a serger, you can absolutely do this dress with your sewing machine using a zigzag stitch. And guess what? Because it's beginner friendly, Danesha was so kind that she did a prep video and she shows you exactly how to duplicate a serger stitch using a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. So if you don't have a serger and you're like, I really love this dress, maybe you've seen Danesha has made it several times, and so if you've seen her in any of her versions of the dress and you're like, I gotta have it. I made one and I wore this on Christmas Eve, I think. And if you're like, yes, I gotta have it, or you just see the ones that we make, which we do plan to wear by the end of this live, and you're like, I gotta make it, you need to watch that prep video because it will definitely help you. And we also have some other prep posts, which we've posted on both Instagram and on our community pages that tell you like, hey, what tools do I need? What notions do I need? What kind of fabric can I work with? Again, all of those posts are going to be available to you. So with that, I'm going to tell you what fabric I'm using. I'm going to show it to you, tell you the machines I'm using, and then I'm going to turn it over to Danesha so she can do the same thing. And then we are going to like dive into it. Okay, yes. So I'm using a rib knit, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I did some color blocking in this version with the thread. So white fabric all throughout, and then I used a black thread, just again, trying to get a feel for it. This time I'm taking it a step further in that I'm doing black, but then I have what is this, right? The left chest, this section right here, and this left arm, I'm doing in a green. And I'm just gonna level it up a little bit more from there. I'm using a cream color thread, which is probably gonna look white for the most part. So I don't know what this is gonna turn out like, but the great thing about sewing is that we could try these different things and see if we like it. So bear with me, we're doing this all for the first time together. But I'm excited to see what the color blocking is going to look like. As far as the machines, I'm using my Bernina 790 sewing machine because there are some steps that you need to use a sewing machine for. And then I'm using my Bernina L860 serger for the majority of this, constructing this pattern. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Danesha, to talk a little bit about your fabrics, colors, and your machines.
Okay, so it might be a little hard to see, but I have made it here in this orange rib knit. And then I also made a gray one and another rib knit. And the gray one that I made is a tad bit more similar to the one that they're all rib knit, honestly, they're pretty close. So I'm using this like kind of a wash burgundy color rib knit from Joanne. And I'm making mine all just plain this color. And I'm using like a darker burgundy thread with my serger and my sewing machine. I got matching thread for the hems and for serging it. I will be working on a Baby Lock Imagine serger and then a Baby Lock Soprano sewing machine for mine.
Awesome. Wonderful. Hey, Teresa. Hi, Tydree. So for all our folks on TikTok, so for those that are new to streaming here, we are streaming on multiple platforms. So the great thing about StreamYard is that both Danesha and I are actually streaming to our separate audiences. You all can see us. So those that are on TikTok, you know that you're not on StreamYard, but you hopefully have an amazing view. You should be able to hear Danesha very well. Although you can't see her, you can hear her. And so hopefully you have an understanding. And if she says something that you need a visual description of, I'll be sure to show you. So welcome to everybody on all of the platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok. We are so happy that all of you are here. And the only other thing that I will ask is that we're going to be sewing. And so sometimes we'll be looking at the comments, and we will be trying to do that to the best of our ability. But if you are here and someone asks a question and you know the answer, we would greatly appreciate it if you can drop those answers into the chat, because that will help us to be able to communicate with our folks. And of course, the same thing is true. If someone asks a question, sometimes the chats go so quickly, we miss those questions. And so if you even say, hey, someone asked a question, we can scroll back down and be able to see that, because we want to make sure that anybody that's sewing along or anybody that has a question, that we get to those questions. Because again, we're excited that you all are here. You could be anywhere and you are here with us. So we are excited about that. Hey, Teresa. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Matt. Hi, Nee.
Oh yeah, I agree. Various colors sound really cool. I'm also on TikTok, so for my TikTok folks, you'll hear LaShawn, but you won't see her. But I will also demonstrate any steps that she says that you can't see.
All right. Well, we're going to get started. So we're going to go right through the directions. So although we've made it many times, I like to go through the directions because I think it helps us, one, to be able to put. Danesha, do you put the little chapters in your YouTube? Do you do that?
Yes, the bookmarks, like so.
Yes, the bookmarks.
Yeah.
Yes. So it helps because if you are making this and you're like, oh, I know how to do all that except for this one part.
Yeah.
It helps us to be able to go back in and put those in. I am not, I am putting chapters in. I'm way behind. So bear with me. You will notice that they will be there at some point in time. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is it tells us that we need to use some clear elastic to base along the shoulder seam of the shoulder seam of the wrong side of the right and left front pieces. Okay. So I want to share this with you. Like, this is I guess the trickiest thing about this pattern is that we are basically sewing a pattern that has exposed seams to it. And so we usually put 99% of the time when we sew things, we put right sides together. That is like, that's ingrained in your brain. Yes. Right sides together. But because we want the seams to show on this dress, we will be putting wrong sides together 99.9% of the time. So when the pattern talks about put wrong sides together, they are saying wrong. They really do mean wrong sides together. And so you just have to visually keep in your mind that you are going to see the seam. And I'm just going to give you a perfect example of how your brain works when you've been sewing for a minute. I literally put this dress on this dress form I put it where the seams were on the inside. And it wasn't until I was looking like, something is wrong with this dress. Why can't we? And I was like, oh, I have it inside out. So anyway, I'm just telling you how your brain will work. So as you're working on this pattern, just know you are supposed to see the seams.
Very
supposed to see the seams. So important. Okay.
I've definitely made my first one and had to seam rip. And seam ripping serger thread is not for the faint of heart. So please pay attention, close attention. I'll do my best to say it over and over too, because I'll be talking to myself when I make this, because I have definitely experienced it wrong.
So let's see. Francine asked a very, very important question.
Oh,
which is, what pattern are we making? What pattern are we making? What pattern are we making? So we are sewing the Roxanne dress. It's a Vikisews dress. It's like the cutest thing ever, as you can see. It's Roxanne. So the other great thing is that the Roxanne dress right now, you can get 20% off. There is a code. It's classified. So Danesha, can you put it in the chat?
Gotcha.
So we'll put it in the chat, but we also have it posted on all of our social media platforms. If you're on Instagram, it's in my bio. If you're on TikTok, it's in my bio. But classified, classy, CLASSY, FIED, FIED, all one word, all caps, 20% off for this pattern if you are interested in this pattern. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. And then I also want to just give a shout out to all my my TikTok folks that are on it, been saying, hello, I am not ignoring you. Let's see, this thing is moving so fast. Hi, Just Me. Hi, Grace. Let's see. Hi, Dejanay. Hi, Top Notch. Hi, D. Hi, Armina, Livette, Lena, Peach, Mika. Thank you all for being here. Hi, Miss Tata. Thank you for all the likes and thank you for the shares. Please continue to like and share because it helps TikTok like push it out to all of the great people that really wanted to see this but just got busy in life and now they need your reminder. Okay, so we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to get to this. Again, this is very beginner friendly. Our first step is that we again are going to do that base that elastic along the shoulder seam of our left and right pieces, again on the wrong side, and I just want to show you exactly where that's going to be. It is going to be, so if you are looking at your, I'm just going to show you from the pattern piece because I think you'll be able to more easily identify it from the pattern piece. And so it's literally, let me make sure it's right here. So it's this piece right here you are basting it from. And so you are starting right here. This is your fold line. You're going to start at that fold line and go to the end. You're going to do it on this one. The other thing to note is that your left and right pieces do look different. So just keep that in mind that your left and right pieces look different. So that was what I just showed you was the right front. And then this is your left front right here. And you are sewing it right here along this part. So you start at the fold line and you're going to go to the edge. So we're going to put, and let me show you the clear elastic that we're using. This is the clear elastic that we are using. So, and I know Danesha said she in the past has used regular elastic, right?
Yeah, I didn't have clear and I just knew that the seam needed elastic. So I used white elastic and honestly, it does not, like you don't really see it, especially with the versions that I made. So if you don't have it, I highly suggest using this because regular elastic because you're gonna need it in that seam.
And I'm just adding my extra camera.
Okay.
Just set it up. Okay.
We're basting it to the wrong side of the fabric.
To the wrong side of the fabric. Yes, you are basting this to the wrong side of the fabric. I will. So I'm excited to wear this dress. I am going to make it just all monochromatic version.
Yeah.
Because I like that personally. But I'm trying to step outside of my comfort zone, which Tadri said. Hi, Rochelle. Welcome. So happy to see you. And let me just switch to... Okay. So what you see, let me just move all this junk. And let me just move this. Nope, that's not what I want. All right, there we go. I'm just measuring mine because I did not pre-cut my elastic. And I don't know about you all, but the weather is like really bad here.
Yeah.
It is like really bad right now. So I'm like, ooh, that's not great.
No.
So the other thing that I do, and Danesha, I don't know how you, well, it matters because I'm color blocking. So I didn't have to do this the first time. Yeah. But I have to make sure because my fabric looks the same on both sides. I have to make sure that I pick the right
side of the fabric.
Right side of the fabric, because I'm not going to be able to just turn it over.
Right. So this is very, like, you can tell with this fabric, one, like, the side, it's not really ribbed on the back side, it's ribbed on the front. So
Okay.
it's easier to see, and it's a little darker on the back side.
Okay. So what I'm getting ready to do is take a chalk and just put an X.
I was gonna say, that's what I do. I usually put an X on the wrong sides of all the pieces.
On the wrong side, because that's going to help me. Because if I end up sewing this on the right side, then I'm gonna have to take it out.
Yeah.
So it's just going to help me make sure that I have this on the correct side. Let me just use that language. All right. Is anyone planning on sewing along?
Ladies, have either one of you used cotton twill tape instead of plastic tape? I've never used cotton twill tape. This is just clear elastic. So it's not tape, it's just clear, stretchy elastic.
Yeah, I haven't used it, and I don't know. I guess I'm thinking about whether it would be a good substitute for this. I'm not sure if it has, because it's cotton and we're sewing on knit, I don't know that it will have the same stretch. And so I don't know that I would use it as a substitute, but I have never, to be honest with you, I have never used it. So just because I don't think I've ever had a project that has required it.
Same.
So I've never used it. So I don't have any, pro or con about it. Other than that, it probably won't work well for this because it's knit and it's going to create some restriction where you might need some flexibility. So Danesha, we've never really sewn together. So just so you know, I am what I like to call a slow sewist.
Okay.
I don't know. I just am slow, but I don't have a problem with it. I always just like to
take your time. Same. I don't
want to. And whenever I try to go fast, I end up using my seam ripper. So I'm like, just do what I do best, which is go slow.
Love it.
Oh, Teresa, great. I'm so glad. So Teresa is sewing along. So Teresa, as you sew, please I'm gonna be checking in with you. Danesha will be checking in with you. We're gonna make sure that you are if you need any help or that you're, that we're not getting too ahead of you in this process. So the other thing is, because I'm color blocking, I do have to change my threads. And I thought a lot about that, but I was like, I'm committed to it. Particularly when I'm using the sewing machine. That's really when I have to change my thread out. But when I get to the serger, I'm using that cream colored thread, which again will likely look white for the most part. And I thought about using it like you, Danesha, you're using that thread, which is not an exact match, but it's a complementary color.
Yeah.
So I thought about it.
More of a monochromatic lip. That's what I did with the orange one. I did a contrast with cream thread, but the gray one I did another shade of gray to go with it.
All right, so I got my first one clipped on, and I'm about to base stitch this on. Now I wonder why they have us do a base stitch for this instead of a regular stitch.
I was wondering that too. Go
ahead.
I think I did a base stitch, maybe because then when we
attach
on top of it.
Yeah. So for those that are may not be familiar, for my base stitch, it's you just increase the length. I usually go to a 5.
Same.
All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I like about this dress is that it is a fairly quick sew.
Yeah.
So although it'll take us a little longer, we're going step by step and we're talking a little bit. If you do this after the fact, you will find that you move through the process fairly quickly, especially because you've been watching and you'll be familiar with what to do. All right, first one is in. You're able to see that, and now I'm putting the second one in. And again, like I said, because I have this little bit of color blocking here, I have my thread and everything ready to go. Just switching it out. So Teresa, as you go through the process, again, you can make no mistakes. If you have any questions, definitely let us know. And again, if anyone else is sewing along, please don't hesitate to drop it in the chat. We are doing this together. And Teresa, you don't know how excited we are
to have you.
You are sewing with us. So it says, are you not stretching the elastic? I did not stretch it. Did you stretch? I didn't stretch it. I just cut it the length.
Yeah, let's see if I can show. I just literally do it the length of the seam and then pin it on and baste it. I don't stretch it while I go.
Yeah, I didn't stretch it.
I'll be using
and when I did it in this one, I didn't stretch it either.
Same. Okay, what was that? I'll be using some stretch fabric with little mouse and picnic basket for mine. It'll be a nightgown, most likely.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cute. Well, welcome to the sew along. Glad you're here. Trying to find my other piece, but I need to put that on.
Okay, you said YouTube is a little delayed. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes it does that. I'm not sure why. I think the different platforms, well, probably because for YouTube, we're streaming through a different, through a third party versus TikTok is like, you're getting us direct.
Yeah, that's true. Do you use pins or do you use clips?
So I'm using clips today, but I use both.
Okay.
When I have like knits, I tend to like to use clips because the pins just slip right off for me.
Yeah.
So I love clips, and then I end up sticking myself a million times and all kinds of
Same. All right, I'm gonna get this one on.
All right, second one is on. So let me just show you what that looks like.
Perfect.
So again, those are on the wrong side, and you're base stitching that elastic to both your left and right shoulder. Your left and right shoulder seam. It is, if you are looking at your pattern or your pieces, it's literally this part and this part in the front pieces. And are we doing the back pieces? Let's see.
With elastic.
Wrong side of left and right front pieces. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see something. I'm sorry, my Instagram family.
Also done. Got the clear.
Thank you, Rochelle, for hopping on YouTube. I'm sorry. You know, the other thing about, so Instagram is new to StreamYard. It does allow us to be able to stream, but it does work a little bit different in that the comments don't show up in the same stream. So StreamYard pulls all the comments from Facebook and YouTube and puts them in one place so we can see them and respond to you all at one time. But Instagram still, we have to look at a separate platform like we have to do on TikTok. We have to, look at a separate platform to be able to see them. So, but the only difference between Instagram and TikTok is that with TikTok, I can scroll back and see, all the ones I missed. Whereas Instagram, it's like, once it's gone, it's gone. So if we miss any comments from those that are watching from Instagram, don't blame it on us at all. blame it on Instagram for not letting us go back. Okay. All right. So the next step is that it tells us to do something called thread trace. So there is a fold line at the neck. And I'm just going to show you this because I did not, stitch it all the way down. Or you won't be able to see it because it's light. But basically there's a fold line at the neck for those that can see it. And it tells you to put like a piece of trace fabric. Trace thread. So that requires, my understanding is that trace thread requires you kind of like hand stitch it like in there. I didn't do that. I just did a basting stitch just to kind of, and it basically is just to remind you like, hey, you're supposed to like where you're supposed to fold it at. So I just put a basting stitch. What did you do anything different? Did you like skip that step altogether? Yes, I could tell you.
I just mark it out. I just transfer the marking from the pattern piece to my pattern pieces. And when I'm done, I fold it there and I tack the front and the back.
Yeah. So for everyone, that step, like you really don't, I base stitch it because the first time I made it, because I didn't know what that step was for. I didn't know why they were telling me to do that. It really literally is to mark it. Right. Yeah. And so like Danesha, what I would recommend is just to take your chalk or your, water soluble, air soluble pen and just literally mark the line. That is what I would recommend, that you literally just mark the line and
literally.
You don't have to, right.
And I guess I would do it I would mark it on the right side so that you know that that's the part where you'll turn under.
Yes. So, and there's like a little, if you cut your fabric out, let me just show if you cut your fabric out, you will see that there literally is a little demarcation, like in the little cut. So exactly like where it is. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a mistake. And, you won't be confused about where it is. But I'm literally just taking my chalk and just drawing a line across from that demarcation, just right across the top. And again, it's just like Danesha said, where you're supposed to fold it under. And so I'm doing that on both of the pieces of fabric. I'm just taking my chalk pencil and just making a line right across. But just so you know, the directions do tell you to kind of do a thread trace, which is basically taking a piece of thread that is like a contrasting color so you could see it, and just kind of loose stitch all the way across that fold line. But we are replacing that step by using our water soluble chalk or water soluble markers or your chalk, and just putting a line across. You also need to do it for your back piece as well, just again because when you connect the neck, you have the two front pieces that make the front part of the neck, and then you have the back pieces that make the back part of the neck too. So you'll just know that all of those pieces get folded down. Okay, so let's see, what is our next step? So the other thing, and again, I'm just going to tell you this because this is in the instructions. We are not going to do this unless Danesha really wants to do it, then we will do it, which is basically base stitch the whole thing together.
I will not be doing that, y'all. We're gonna make this dress, and I pray that everybody's version fits. And if not, it'll be a lesson.
Yeah. So hey, Flex on Network. Hey,
The
Karn.
stretch is very
Welcome. Hey,
forgiving. The stretch.
Joshi. Hi, Angela. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm just going to tell you this because it is in the instructions, and you'll read it and you'll be like, what is this for? What is the meaning of this? And so if you've ever sewn any of Vikisews patterns before, she has this fitting step in there. And basically what she's saying is that before you permanently stitch the whole thing together, she recommends that you basically base stitch all the pieces together so that you can see, does it fit you the way that you want it to fit? And from that, you can basically make some adjustments. Another way that people do that who are, I don't want to say more experienced, but people who have been sewing a lot longer, sometimes they will basically, they have a dress form that is their size, and they will pin the whole garment to their dress form and say, oh yeah, if it fits the dress form because it's my size, it has my measurements, my hip, my bust, my waist measurements, then it's going to fit me. And if not, I make some adjustments based on how that fits. So that's pretty much what she's replicating, but she's replicating it. If you don't have a dress form, you would base it together and try it on yourself and then say, oh, this is too big right here. Let me just make this an inch smaller, or this is not fitting. So you know before you even get started, I need to cut a bigger piece of this piece. So Danesha, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I will say my dress form is similar to my size, except for when it kind of gets to the hip. And so I actually do some of that sometimes too. Like I'll put the pieces on here. I'll pin it all up and like look at it and figure it out. Or sometimes I'll compare the pieces. Like I've made a lot of bodycon dresses. So when I see a piece, I can tell like, okay, that's too narrow. That's not going to fit me, or that's my size. And I'll compare it to other patterns that I have. But when it comes to this type of dress, especially since they're exposed seams, like I wouldn't base this whole thing together. Personally, I would go find scrap fabric first before I did that, just because that's the kind of sewist I am. I'm going to make a version, and if it's wearable, great. If it's not, I'll give it away, or I don't know.
It definitely takes a lot of effort to base stitch something all together. And what I would say is I totally agree with you that if you have this fabric that you love and you want to make it in this fabric, I would not, if you have any question about your sizing, do not cut your good fabric.
Yes.
Try some scrap fabric, as long as it's the same type of fabric. It doesn't begin because you're base stitching it. It doesn't even matter whether the pieces match. You could literally cut every piece in a different color of scrap fabric. It doesn't even matter. The purpose for doing it is really just to make sure that you have the fit. And do you need to make any adjustments to your pattern size, or do you need to get a whole nother size altogether? So definitely something worth doing, especially if you are just starting as a beginner, because one of the things that you do have to learn is, what size am I? What size am I? Because the pattern sizing is based on a whole other thing.
I would recommend right there that it's something that when I first started learning, I didn't know about, was looking at finished measurements. So that is also something good to check out when you're looking for patterns, shopping for patterns, checking out the finished measurements. It tells you how much ease is in the garment. That's something I learned way down the line that would have been really helpful, because it helps to get a better fit the first time.
Absolutely. So let's see. Yes, thank you, Carmen. Like and share. So we're going to move to the next step. And the next step is for us to place the right and left front pieces. So the same pieces that we just put the based elastic in, the same pieces that we just drew our chalk lines on, we are going to base the right and left front pieces wrong sides together. I'm going to emphasize, because we want our seams to show, we are, instead of doing right sides together for this entire dress, we are doing wrong sides together. So we're going to take those same two pieces and we are going to put them wrong sides together, making sure that we line up our raw edges. And then we are going to stitch on our overlocker, or if you are using your sewing machine, you're going to do a zigzag stitch. And so Danesha, you want to talk a little bit about, just describe what you did in terms of putting that zigzag stitch in?
Okay, I was just going to add real quick. Thank you, Rosalind. I love this color too. And hi, Tiffany. Hi, everyone. So two things. On the serger, I usually keep my blade on, but I know for this fabric, I need that extra room, so I'm not. But because Vikisews patterns are 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and my serger 4-thread overlock is 1/4 of an inch, so I usually shave off 1/8 of an inch. I know numbers are not everyone's favorite, but hopefully that makes sense. And so for your sewing machine, of course, you can't do that. So do keep that in account for doing a zigzag stitch. You're gonna have a little bit more space in the dress. Not really a bad thing to me. And so on the sewing machine, you want to make sure that with your zigzag stitch, when the zig is zagging to the right, it's catching the end of your fabric and then back in, because you almost want it to look like, well, not almost, you want it to look like an overlock thread, which would hit the edge of your fabric and then go back in. So
Right.
I hope that makes sense. If that's not clear, drop it in the comments and I'll keep explaining.
Yeah, and I think
together.
You may want to also, just if you're not sure whether it's hitting the edge, you may want to like test the fabric and just see, like, do the zigzag stitch and see, does it go right to the edge? So you will know where you need to place the fabric on your sewing machine. So I have like a edge foot, and so that is one of the things that is really helpful. And I'm just going to take it off just to kind of show people.
And I was going to say, while you get that off, if you don't have an edge foot, another quick thing in the house is some tape. If you just want to tape a marking to keep your fabric lined up with that piece of tape.
Let's see, how do I? Okay, there we go. So this is the edge foot. And so it has like a little divider in there. And what I did when I was trying to figure out, like, how do I make sure, I basically put my fabric right, let me see, where did I put it? Oh yeah, I put my fabric right at the edge of not where the line is in the middle, but right at the edge of the foot. And then my needle lines up with the center, and then it goes to that edge.
Smart.
So that's how I can make sure that it goes to the edge.
One other tool is this magnetic thing. I don't even know what the name of it is. It's on my Amazon. It's very helpful. You just literally, it's magnetic. It sticks to the machine, and you can use it to keep the edge of your fabric lined up while you're sewing. So it's like, oh, there we go. And it's
all right. Mika, are you sewing along with us?
Hey, ladies, can you explain that again? Why the dress will be looser? Okay. So I'm going to explain it again. I think it's Larisha. I'm not sure. Let me know if I'm saying your name wrong. So because you're doing a zigzag stitch and the lengths that they recommend are 2.5 millimeters for length and 2 to 3 millimeters for width, the seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch. It's just a slight difference. It's a very slight difference, to be honest. So it's not going to be much looser. I'm just explaining that on the serger, you could use a blade to cut off some of the seam allowance, versus the sewing machine, you're not going to cut off any of the seam allowance.
Right. You're going to have all of that there. So it's almost like if you've ever experienced this, sometimes when we're sewing, one of the things that we do is we decide to cut things on a fold, right, instead of cutting two pieces. And so when you cut something that they tell you, like for example, this dress, right, this dress tells you the back is the right side of the back and the left side of the back are identical. And like a trick that I learned when I first started sewing is that when the left side and the right side of the back are identical, cut it on the fold and save yourself some time. But what you need to know is that whenever you cut something on the fold that is not intended to be cut on the fold, you will end up with about an inch more of width, because you didn't cut off that. You didn't get rid of the seam allowance, right? Yeah. That fold, basically that 5/8 of an inch that is kind of built into most patterns, or in this case, 3/8 of an inch. You have 3/8 of an inch on the left side and the right side. They are now still included in. So you're going to have this extra looseness that you wouldn't have otherwise had. So the same thing is happening here when you use the zigzag stitch. You're not getting rid of that seam allowance. It's just kind of still in there. if that makes any sense.
And I just did some math to clarify. So, or I didn't do the math, the computer did. But 3/8 of an inch is a little over 9 millimeters. And you're going to be using a length of, or I'm sorry, a width. Your zigzag width could be up to 3 millimeters. So you're going to have an extra 6 millimeters in each seam. I hope that math makes sense to you, Larisha. So that's what I mean. The only other suggestion would be is trimming that seam allowance before you actually sew, which is obviously another step. But
yeah, and I don't think it's going to be that.
I don't think so either. And I would suggest just making it, and if you want it tighter, going back in and trimming and then sewing again. That's my personal recommendation. I'm all pinned out down the front curve. So here's, or not pinned, clipped. So just show TikTok. Hello, TikTok. Hi, Tasha. Yes, all clips.
Oh, did Mika say, let me see. Mika, did you say you were sewing with us? No, I don't have the pattern yet. Okay, I think you said that, but you will be doing it. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Black Sewing That. Thank you, Carm, for answering that question. We are making the Roxanne dress. And if you scroll up, I provided a code. It's classified, all caps, to save 20%. You do have to have a Vikisews account and be logged in. And you can only use that code one time. Okay? So make it count. Get everything you want.
Okay, so here's my clip together.
Let's do a couple tests.
And wrong sides together. And so now I am going to my serger, and for my TikTok family, let me move my camera so you can see. I'm telling you, Dee, I saw you say it's like windy and all of that out there. It is, the rain is coming down like,
wow.
You would not believe. It is just, it's doing its thing out here. I'm telling you, they said we're supposed to get snow by Tuesday. Yeah, so I'm like not looking forward to it because I'm supposed to travel to DC on Tuesday, and so I do not drive in the snow. Let me tell you.
Oh, I've never done that. Well, I've always been a South girl, so never really experienced too much of the snow.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna try this. Let's hope that this looks right, because guess what? I'm probably wearing this tomorrow.
I'm gonna tell you what, my sewing machine is betraying me. I mean,
oh, how dare it?
One thread is not threaded. I'm gonna do this real quick. I'll catch up.
Okay, yeah, no, it's gonna be fine. It is gonna be fine. So just like in my last night, I had the opportunity to go and see Trevor Noah live. And he was so awesome. Let me tell you, I was tired because I had a crazy week, but I just needed that. He was so, when I tell you he was so funny, like he was so funny. So if you have an opportunity to see him, for those that live in the Baltimore area, he will be here all weekend, but I think the shows are sold out. Like it was just so good. So good. I was sad that they didn't let us have our phones at all. I mean, they let us have it, but they were like
on it, huh?
Yeah, they were on it. Like you were not bringing your phone out. And
that's becoming a new thing. Well, I guess because they turn them into specials, so they don't want you leaking their goods.
Yeah, they don't want you to have. Yeah, but it was so good. Even his the person that did the beginning, he was good too. It was really good.
Like his opener, you mean?
Yes, the opener. Thank you. Give me the words. Thank you. Thank you all for all the likes on TikTok and the gifts. I appreciate you all every time.
Awesome. You're gonna love this pattern. Yes, you can definitely trim it down, Larisha. If you want it tighter, you can always go back. I always say you can't make it bigger, but you can make it smaller.
Okay, This cream serger stitch is really looking good. I'm liking it so far. I got my shoes out and everything. Try this dress on.
I love it. I actually have shoes planned for this one too.
I'm excited.
I love how good it also looks with sneakers. I wear mine with sneakers a lot.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm like, okay. It's definitely one of those things where you could dress it up or dress it down.
Yes, literally. I love anything like that.
So here, for those that want to see the first bit, let me just turn you around, my TikTok family.
All right.
Okay. So here, you know what else I think I like about this too is that I really do think you could probably get away with wearing it
on both sides.
On both sides.
I've already. I put.
Have you done that already?
Yeah, I haven't worn it out, but I definitely put it on inside out, and I was like, the only thing is the hem. But I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the only.
You know what? I'm gonna show you what I did on mine. Is I didn't actually hem it. I just did a serge all the way around.
I thought about it. I didn't do it, but I like that. I might do that on this one. That way, it's really reversible because that's literally the only thing is the hem.
Right. This is gonna be reversible for me.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, look, that just looks so good already.
I like these colors.
I'm like, so for those that know, you know me, you know I love my neutral colors. I love my, I love my neutral colors. So I'm excited about this. But I love that kind of what you say, washed burgundy. I love that.
Yeah, I'm like, I love it with the dark burgundy thread. It's looking good. It's looking good. Next step, I think, is we're ironing.
Okay, let me get my iron out. So basically you are kind of pressing that seam that you just put in. You are pressing that down. And let me see, does it tell us what direction?
I think it's to the right, but it does tell us what direction.
Let's see.
Hello, TikTok. Check it. Okay.
Where? Oh yeah, here it is. I'm on the wrong page. Press the seam allowance toward the right front piece. You were right. You got it.
All right. Let's do it.
You should know. You.
Oh, you good?
Yep. My camera was on my iron and I just pulled it twice. This is what happens when you have like 50 million.
We got it all going. It's okay. We're going to get it one.
We go. Sorry, TikTok.
Oh, Rosin makes a great point. For anyone who's never shopped Vikisews, Rosin is a tall girly. Shout out to her. They have different heights. So when you're purchasing your pattern, you can choose your height range for the pattern. I do love that. Also, I was going to add, when I iron this particular rib knit fabric, I keep my iron setting low, but I still like cover my fabric with a cloth. And then I use my clapper to like really get those seams to lay that way. That way, after you wash it, everything kind of still trained to go the same way. But I saw last time that it kind of left a mark. When I washed it, it was fine, but I was a little freaked out. Like, I don't want no marks on my fabric.
So let me get this clapper and let me make sure. So I do have this turned down.
Perfect.
I have it down a little bit. Synthetic. It's probably too low, but we'll see. So you're going to, again, press that to the right side. Okay, there we go. Pressing this to the right side. And I got my clapper for those that don't know. If you don't have a clapper, anything heavy, if you have anything wood that's heavy, that's the best. But if you don't have, a book will do. Ooh. Oops, let me move this out of the way. All right, I'm using my clapper. And
beautiful.
Okay. And now I'm just pressing this out. Yeah, I'm excited to wear this. This is like going to be great. Okay. So once we finish pressing that out, then we are going to place the top edge of the bottom front piece. So we have this bottom front piece, which let me make sure I pull it out. I think this is it. It's like one of your biggest pieces. Yes, here we go. So here's our bottom front piece. What it looks like. That's your bottom front piece. So we are working with that piece next. Just gonna put this to the side. And you're gonna pull out that bottom front piece and you're gonna put the top edge of the bottom front piece and the bottom edge of those basically that right and left top section that you put together. You're gonna place those wrong sides together, and then you're gonna align those raw edges and you're gonna pin or clip. So again, we're doing it wrong sides together. So let's see. I'm just laying this with and it's going to get confusing to look at because when you are looking at the wrong side, you're going to be looking at a finished seam, and it's going to be, so just keep that in mind that when you are looking at the wrong side, this is the wrong side. You're going to be looking at this like finished seam, and that is the wrong side. This is the right side. So you're going to take that wrong side and you're going to match it up to the wrong side. And it gets a little bit tricky. So like what I did to make sure I had it right was I did right side and then I turned it over.
Yeah, I like what you did. I highly suggest if your fabric looks the same on both sides, while you're cutting it, put a distinctive mark with chalk or whatever. I also like to use washable Crayola markers sometimes, depending on what fabric I'm using and what color, and if I want the markings darker to show up, because it will wash right out when you wash your garment.
Yes. I love that. I saw that on your prep video that you use Crayola, and I thought I put that on my when I can buy something. So I'm participating in the So Much Talent challenge for this month, buying no new.
Ooh.
I'm not no fabrics, no patterns, but I'm not buying any notions. I'm not buying anything.
I love
because
it.
I have enough of everything.
I love it.
And if you could see my sewing space, it is, if overindulged was a sewing room,
it's there.
I said I need to use what I have, and that is exactly what I'm doing. I might even extend this challenge far beyond January because I need to use what I have like nobody else.
Love it.
So I am participating in the So Much Talent challenge for January.
So no buying. I'm just only buying if a project pops up. But right now, I actually don't need to buy anything. I'm releasing a YouTube video this weekend with my fabric haul. And the only thing that I will be buying, if there's a pattern sale, are the new Know Me patterns and some of the other new patterns that they go on sale this month. But other than that, y'all will see my fabric haul and you'll see why I'm not going to be buying anything size 10.
You have put in the work.
I'm still trying to figure out what size to buy Nikki's site. Maybe she's asking about the pattern you did last week. Was it last week? The puff sleeve, possibly.
Oh yes. Okay. So Tamiko, and tell me if I'm saying that right. I will definitely help you find the size. So last week, for those that weren't on, we sewed Nikki from Beauty du Jour. We sewed her oversized puffy sleeve dress, which was super cute. And because it is oversized, she gives you the sizes of the garment, but they are not going to match your body size because it's intended to be much larger. What I did was I picked the size based on my, and I'll add this. I need to add this to my post about my finished garment, but I picked them based on my actual body measurement. And so my bust measurement, because that was going to be, that's the part that I wanted to actually fit like it's supposed to fit. And then the kind of oversized part would start below the bust. So based on that, I'm a 39 bust size. I sewed a size 14. That even in a quarter, I did it in a corduroy, and I also did it in a linen, and both of those ended up being much larger than what I wanted them to be. And so ultimately I ended up sewing it in a size 10. What I would say is that depending on your fabric and how much stretch or not stretch that it has in it, you might need to make some adjustments. I would start with your bust, picking the size that correlates with your bust size, and then taking your own body measurements and looking at the other body measurements from there and saying, do you really, like for example, my waist is a 33 and my hips are 42. I think for that size 14, it was like a 59 hips. And if you don't want it to be out that far, you can take off a couple of inches on each side. Or in the case of the back, it is cut down the middle. So you might want to evenly, if you decide like, hey, I want it to only be 50 inches, which means that I'm going to have 4 inches wider on this side and 4 inches wider on this side. So you need to cut off like 5 inches. I would split it between the right side, the left side, and the middle, so that it is evenly, dispersed. And so what Tamiko, if you send me a message on one of the platforms that we have an inbox on, so Facebook or Instagram, I will send you a video, and then I'll try to post it too. That kind of tells you exactly what I just said about how you can make those adjustments, because you do want to pick a size that you feel. You don't want a huge dress unless you really do want a huge dress, and that's the style that you're going for. Then you won't have to make any adjustments at all. But start with your bust size, and then you can make some adjustments from there in terms of the pattern size. Do you need to go down or up? So hopefully that helps. Mika, I'm so glad we're in this together. We are doing no shopping January. Yes. Okay.
I believe.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I believe for this step now that we're at, we have the top half facing up when you go to serge or zigzag stitch.
Yes, absolutely correct. You should see your finished side, which is your seam exposed side. So that's what you want to see. Absolutely. All right, we're getting ready to sew this together. I made a total mess over here.
She said, if you say clapper 3 times, Mrs. Carroll appears. Clapper, clapper, clapper. Where is she?
I know, right?
I love it.
Here we go. For the record, we have our clappers.
All right. Cover this up. Don't want no spills.
Make sure that I have this going the right way. Yep. I wanted to make sure when I was serging that I'm serging it in the right direction. I mean, I'm serging it, my seam that I'm overlapping will be it.
Yes. Nice and slow.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to reclip a couple, make sure it was lined up. And now I'm ready to serge. And here we go. We are serging. Again, remember, make sure that you put your wrong sides together.
Yes.
You might have to actually even say it out loud. That's what I had to do.
Same.
I had to keep saying wrong sides together, wrong sides together. In sync creatively. What is too late? Did I? Oh, you said you've already bought something. It's not too late. You can start right now.
Hop in.
We still have. She was saying it's too late for her to start. I think for the so much talent challenge. She already.
Okay.
But you could start right now. We have 19 days left in the month of January. It's not too late.
Check out TikTok.
All right, there we go. If I could find my scissors.
All right.
We have literally just put together the front of the dress. Boom.
And I do know for the next seam, you're going to press it down towards the bottom piece.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay, so let me open this up. I don't even know why that is. All right, here we go. Let's see. So we are making the Roxanne dress. It's a Vikisews dress. And it is very beginner friendly. So for someone that it's a PDF pattern dress, for someone that has not sewn a PDF pattern, this would be a great pattern to kind of get started with.
Is next Friday the Malika skirt, or is that the following Friday?
So the Malika skirt is next Friday.
Okay.
Yes, which is another it's a line pattern, but it is beginner friendly.
Very. I love that. I will tell y'all now, I made that in like this really complicated sequin with fringe, and it was still easy. So highly recommend that pattern. And you can also use the same code for 20% off of that one too, because that's another Vikisews pattern.
Thank you. I'll make sure that I post that.
I love that pattern.
Yes.
I actually used the same pattern for a mini skirt because I just chopped it, and I used it for my Beyonce outfit. I used that pattern.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I really like that pattern. I literally made the exact color.
Yeah, I saw yours.
Right. I literally the colorway of that's on the. I made that, and it will be on my dress form next week.
I love yours. You might have made it before I even used that pattern, I think. I do remember yours, your burgundy.
Yeah, I did the burgundy, and I did this, and I also did the top too, which I love.
Oh, it's the black top with the cutout, like the shoulder.
And it is also, I think, very beginner friendly. But I didn't want to overcrowd us with the things that we had to do, so I was like, okay.
I gotta get that pattern. I don't have that one yet.
So let me see. Mika and who else said that? In Sync Creatively. You know what? I was not into PDF patterns as well, like when I first started sewing. But what I find is like there are a lot of PDF patterns that I think like reflect my style that I don't have to do a lot of modifications to. Like I literally can like pick it off the shelf and sew it as is. In terms of when I say modifications, I don't mean fit modification, I mean style modifications. And I also feel like it's a way for us to like support a lot of our indie sewers, because again, they're not a part of the big commercial, pattern. So I feel like it's another way for us to support a lot of our indie sewers. So I will also be doing a lot of just kind of giving everybody a heads up. Black History Month is coming up in 19 days. And so again, part of that is me wanting to support a lot of our sewists. And so a lot of them don't have commercial patterns. Some of them do more recently, but a lot of them don't. And so I will also be sewing some of their independent patterns, just to support Black businesses, to support small businesses. So I've gotten used to it, and I've gotten a lot more comfortable. And so Ms. Tata says over time, the PDF patterns, they have better instructions than some of the commercial patterns. And I actually agree with that.
I agree too.
My experience as well.
I actually also similarly got into PDFs. Like I was like commercial pattern all day, but I always hacked. I don't think I've made more than I can count on one hand commercial patterns the way that they come. If you follow me, you know I'm always hacking. But I will say for PDF patterns, especially Vikisews and like just smaller ones that I found, I can name off a few, but I'll do that later. But anyway, I just find that also they're more my style. Like, and I will make them over, like, okay, this is my third dress. I don't make commercial patterns as much because of all the hacking that I have to do. It's usually like, all right, one and done. And like you said, supporting small independent designers, which I will soon be one myself. I'm claiming it this year. So I definitely understand and encourage you all to give it a try. If it's the fact that you have to tape together a pattern, I'm going to drop a website right here that has fast shipping, and you can send the AO copy and you can get it all the pieces together as if it was a commercial pattern, because I highly recommend giving PDF a try.
Here's what we've done so far. I definitely agree with you 100%. Like
the printing and the taping. There you go. PDFplotting.com.
Yay, thank you.
If anyone else has any resources, drop them.
pdfplotting.com will help you get your patterns quick. If you don't like to print and tape them together. And I think the thing that I do to get over is I don't do it all in one day, but it's all of them have a process, whether you're cutting out the pattern pieces, or taping them together. There's a process, to it, or you're making adjustments for your style or otherwise. They all have a little bit of a process. So, thank you, Peach. Thank you. So, Larisha, congratulations. She said this is her first time using a PDF pattern. She brought it more on Vikisews, but she's like, is there an easier way? You know what, Larisha, it gets easier over time. I promise you that. And when you start to sew with your commercial patterns, you will see yourself when you see the PDF patterns, when you see like the indie patterns that are out there, you'll be like, oh, that's my style. Oh, that's my style. And you will kind of, it's worth it. I guess if you'll learn to kind of appreciate the little bit of extra, effort that is involved. Okay, so we are on to the back piece. So you can see Danesha and I have finished the front. That's what you're seeing. Well, kind of finished the front part of the dress, so to speak. I just kind of pinned it up there so you can have some inspiration to look at while we work on the back. As I had mentioned before, I'm doing the color blocking with both thread and the fabric, just to see how it looks. We'll see. We're gonna see it. So far, I'm loving it. What is that? Whose commercial is that? I'm loving it. Is that McDonald's? McDonald's. Just like McDonald's. Okay, so we are moving on to the back pieces, which we have here, and we're gonna place the back pieces wrong sides together, and we are going to align the edges. We're going to match the notches, and we are going to pin and put it on our serger or our sewing machine using the zigzag stitch. So that's what we're doing in this step right here. Okay, here we go.
Oh, another thing about PDF patterns that I learned after printing out lots of pages is a few things. When you go in, a lot of them now put layers. So if you open it in Adobe, you can actually drop down on the right. It's like, it kind of looks like 3 squares on top of each other, and open up the layers and only select the size that you want to print. One, that makes it easier than having to figure out your size if you print all the sizes. And 2, a lot of them group together the page numbers that you need if you're only making like the top instead of the dress, or the dress and not the top. So those are 2 ways. I will probably go back and make maybe a screen recording showing how to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. And I'll post it. Okay.
That makes it so much easier. Because trust me, I used to run from certain patterns because I was like, man, 50 pages.
Right.
But the process, I agree. If you put something on the TV, I sit on the floor and just make that a day of putting together all my, like, whatever pattern I'm going to use. And then the next day, cut the fabric, and then so on and so forth.
Yes. Angela, I totally agree. Vikisews' style is so awesome. She has so many amazing, edgy, modern styles that are just like great. And I'm just like, I just, I go back to her because I love it. I love her style. So, but there are some other, another one of my favorite PDF patterns is from Nikki from Beauty Du Jour, who we just did her pattern last week. And we'll likely do another one of her patterns for Black History Month. Because again, the great thing about sewing, my favorite thing about sewing is that you never have to wear something that you don't like. And that has been my motivation for sewing. And so I'm not going to sew a commercial pattern just because it's easier if ultimately I'm going to make something that I don't like. That's not my style. So
agreed. I need to look into more of her PDF patterns. I've only made her coat pattern. I attempted her trench pattern back in the day, but I never finished it. But now that she has a new one out, and I'm way more experienced than I was back then. I definitely plan on revisiting her newest pattern that released. But I need to check out her PDF patterns.
Angela says she is working on Vicky's eyeliner skirt. Have you ever made that? The eyeliner skirt? I have to look it up.
No, I've only made the Malika skirt and the Sati, I think, and maybe only those. No, I made a third one. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. I love it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Salma skirt.
I think that one.
That's the one with like the drawstring in it that does the ruching.
Oh yes, I got that.
I
am
skirt.
making that. So next month, no, not February, March, I'm going to the Maldives and Dubai.
Ooh.
And yes, and so I'm going to be making that. Not for Dubai because obviously you have to be
covered up.
But the Maldives, they're gonna get all this work.
Yes, I love it. Yes, Rosalind, supporting Black businesses and creators. Yes.
Yes. Rosalind hit the nail on the head. You said you're making it in yellow leather. Oh my goodness, what? That sounds awesome. Can you please, Angela, when you finish that, please tag us because I want to see. We need to see all of that, okay? She said it's a little challenging, but let me tell you, I'm feeling, we're sending you positive energy. I'm feeling the positive vibes. It's going to look great. And we all need to see it. So please tag us in it so we can repost and share, let the world send you some love for all the effort.
Yes.
You said, you're saying it's a yellow. Okay, you said the color of the skirt is yellow, but you're making it in green. Even better. Green is like money. So
okay, online. Got it. Green is my favorite color, so even better.
Even better. I'm going to look for it, Angela, so I can see. Okay, I have my whole thing clipped up, and now we are going to go to...
And one last reminder before you start, make sure your wrong sides are together and you're looking at the right side of your fabric.
Yes, thank you. So that you can see. I think you can.
Is there a certain side that should be up? I think it's...
Say it again.
Did the instructions say if a certain side should be facing up? I don't think it makes a difference, but sometimes it'll say
side should be facing up. It says, let me see. It says place the back pieces wrong sides together, align the center edges, and match the notches. Pin and stitch on the overlocker or the sewing machine using a zigzag stitch with the right side of the left back piece facing up.
Okay.
Right side of the left back piece facing up. I guess so. It's
basically with the starting from you will be starting from the top to the bottom.
To the bottom, right.
I know they're very specific.
Which is interesting because typically I sew from the bottom to the top.
Really?
Yeah, I do. For like dresses, and I typically sew from the bottom to the top.
I always go top. Well, hold on. I guess it depends. Sometimes I'll just go top down and then flip it and go down up, like depending on like if the piece, does that make sense? Like when we go to put the back and the front together, what I would typically do is go top down, flip it around, down, top.
Down. No, that makes sense.
They are oddly specific, which I get it because we're also pressing to certain sides. So
right.
That's why. So I do think we press to the left side.
So excited. So for those that are just joining us, we are sewing dress. We're working on the back seam, sewing the back seam pieces together, or the back two pieces together. And I'm down to the last little bit. There we go. Oh.
I just remembered something else the pattern does say. I think it's at the neck seam and the underarm seams or something, where you leave a tail and then tuck it into the seam allowance. I'll be honest, I did it with one dress, I didn't do it with the other one, and the seams are just fine. But I do want to put that out there in case someone else does this later and you're following the instructions. There are certain points where it tells you to leave a tail of thread and tuck it into the seam allowance.
Yeah, so I did do that and I didn't like it, so I took it out.
So that I would say.
Yeah, I did not
but I did not like how it looked.
I didn't like how it looked because normally if you were sewing with a serger, you might do that just to have a neat, clean finish, but you don't see the seam. In this case, you do. Yeah. And I was like, I don't.
Why would we do that?
Right. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I was like, for the neck, okay, because it's turned under, but still, why? So yeah, I don't recommend it, and I have no problems. And I have definitely worn these dresses a few times already. So
yeah, definitely
fine.
Like it. Okay, so
marking.
Now we're gonna press. And we are going to press the seam allowances towards the right-hand side. Seam allowances, I guess. Our seams. That's what we're going to do. We're going to press.
To the right piece.
To the right. That is correct.
All right.
So we are moving right along with this dress.
Yes.
Making great progress. So
my friend's sewing. How is it going? I know Larisha was sewing with us.
Yes, Larisha. She said, let me see. Oh, Larisha said when she was talking about is there easier way, she was talking about the taping and the printing. Yeah, that is the most, that once you get past that part, yeah, but I feel you on that. Look, I'm not trying to say it's easier from that perspective for sure. So let me see. Larisha is sewing. I feel like there was someone else sewing with us.
I think so too. I have to scroll further up. I go all the way back.
Mag says let me see. Teresa, how are you doing, Teresa? How are you doing, Larisha? And Mag said she will be sewing, but not sewing along. Okay, just cutting the fabric. Okay. Well, if you have any questions still, Mag, please drop it in. Okay, Larisha says so far so good. We'd love to hear it.
I'm scrolling back real quick. I missed a couple people. So hi, Danielle. Hi, Trap Fam. Hi, Sabrina. And if the girls are watching, hi, Nova and Nyla. Let's see. Yeah, I did. My head was down. Girl was focused and nervous. I'm like, my first time. But hello, everyone. I've warmed up now.
You are doing great. I wouldn't know. No one knows.
I am excited and loving it. So good. So far so good. I love it. Thank you for tuning in to watch. They're watching.
Yes, look, it's a Friday. Fridays are the days where people let loose, and so we are so appreciative that you are all here. And Danesha, I am so appreciative that you are here as a co-host.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Happy to be here. Glad I made it. All right, almost done. I love how long this dress is.
I do too. I love a long dress. I love, love, love a long dress. I'm like, I got little teeny legs, so there's like, I feel like this just lets me kind of hide them a little bit.
Give you some height, some extra height under that.
Makes me look a little taller. I wear my little boots or my heels.
I love it.
I'm good to go. All right. All right.
All pressed out.
Pressed. Let me just show you.
I love it. I'm sewing and having a glass of wine. That is my idea of letting loose. Okay, it's me and my tea over here. I love it. Cheers.
I know that's right. We are here for it. Thank you. We love it. I don't have, all I have is water in my cup.
That too. Stay hydrated, please.
I'm behind on my water drinking, so I was like, let me fill my cup up.
Oh wow. Teresa is joining us from the UK. She says it's 2
Okay.
a.m.
Oh my goodness. Well, Teresa, look, this deserves a little flag. Please, everybody, let's give Teresa some love. She is sewing from the UK.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m. and she's like hanging in there sewing with us. Teresa, please tag us in your make. We love to see it. We love to share it.
Yes.
So you could get all your flowers right now because you're working so hard, even harder because it's 2 a.m. and you have a long day. So please let's show Teresa some love because she is here representing and sewing, and we love to see it. We love to hear it. Yeah. All right, let me see. Where are we? Okay, step 15. So guess what we are at? We are connecting the front and the back. So we're connecting the front and the back. We're doing that at the shoulder seams and the neck. So again, wrong sides together. I keep saying this probably more for me than I am saying for anyone else, because you with the quickness want to put right sides together. And because your right side looks so good, you've pressed it out, the seam is laying flat, you're gonna be like, oh, so just make sure that you can see the seam. That's how you know you have put wrong sides together, because the seam is staring at you. Yes. The seam is staring at you. That is the right side. So wrong sides together. So I'm laying it out. Well, when you lay out your front, let me just re-explain that. You are not looking at the exposed seam. But then when you lay your back on top, or whatever one that you're putting on top, whether it's I laid my front piece down first, and then I'm putting my back piece on top of it.
Okay.
So when you lay it out, you just want to make sure that the seam is the exposed seam is facing up. So that's what I mean by wrong sides together. And then we are going to pin or clip, in my case. We're going to clip these shoulder and the neck together. Align those raw edges.
right.
I'm like, this is really coming along.
Yes.
All right. Hi, Miss Tata. Hi, Miss Greta. Sexy Greta, welcome. All right. And let me see. I'm telling you, I would drink a glass of wine if I thought I could make it. I might look, the glass of wine might have me even slower. I'd be sewing and
Time for a nap.
right, exactly. Now, if I was sewing not on live, I probably would, because then you could just, check out whenever you feel like it. Okay, so let me just show you what I have done. I've gotten, lay this up against me so you can see me really well. I have done my neck and shoulder piece. Same thing on the other side, neck and shoulder pieces. So basically, it's this piece, stitching the front and the back together on this piece. Here we go. So let me just show you. Take it, untuck it, because I didn't tack mine down yet. But it's basically this piece right here that you are doing on both sides. So you are doing a zigzag stitch if you're doing this from your sewing machine, or you are doing your serge, or you're using your serger. You're going to serge it. So here we go.
And I would suggest going slow and making sure your clear elastic is also lined up with the edge, because this is where we have our clear elastic in that seam.
Yes, good point. Good point. Good point. And that's going to be particularly true if you are not using your knife on your serger, or if you're using a sewing machine, because you don't want that clear. I mean, you could always kind of go in and clip it off, but you have to be extra careful not to clip your threads. So great point. Great point. So yeah, make sure, I'm even doing it for myself right now, making sure that my seams are aligned, so we don't have no issues. All right, there we go. I think we got it. I think we got it together. Pretty good. All right, now I'm doing the other side. Like, you can see how quickly this dress is coming together. It really is coming together very, very quickly. Oops. I am and let me just show you. This is the back of the dress that we are now looking at. You're looking at it from the back, connected the front and the back at the shoulder and the neck. And this is the front.
Yes.
So the front, let me just give you a better view of the front and then of the back. Oops. Here we go. And when you get to the pressing part of this, you are just literally pressing it flat is what you're doing. You're pressing it flat out. From those, on those seams. You also want to be careful too, because you do have that clear elastic. It will melt when you press, so just be mindful of that. You may want to use like a cloth to lay it over top of that. There we go. That looks so good. So you said, Mag, that it takes you longer to finish cutting the pattern and fabric than you guys assembling it. Yeah, you know, I mean, it does, it takes a little bit, but once you get used to it and you understand kind of how to piece it together, which again, for me, it took me a couple of times to sew different patterns. But then you kind of get the hang of it. So you can move a little bit quicker. But yeah, you're right. I think the time to put it together, the pattern pieces together, I don't know that it's longer than putting the dress together, but the time might be similar because this dress is a very quick sew. Thank you, Miss Tata. You said, what kind of fabric am I working with? So both of us are working with a rib knit fabric. Mine are a medium weight, you know, both of them are a medium weight rib knit. And this one is also a medium weight rib knit as well. And let's see. Am I going to DC Fractales? I am going to DC Fractales. Yes, I am. I'm excited. Are you going, Angela? Because we have to see each other. Hi, Brooklyn. Welcome.
DC Fractales, is that what's happening this weekend?
No, it's not. It's February.
Oh,
if I remember correctly.
I've seen that one.
Oh, Angela, we will be there together, you and I. I think it's Angela, what is the date of it? Is it February 2nd, I think? Is when it is? February 3rd. February 3rd.
Okay.
Is when it is. Yeah. So I am definitely going. Anybody else going to DC for October? Oh, you said February 2nd. Okay, it is February 2nd. Yes, Lisa said February 2nd. So February 2nd. Okay, so Rosalind asked, Danesha, did you buy your fabric from Joann's?
I did. This one, the gray one I made, and this orange one, all from Joanne.
Angela, I can't wait. Hi, Catherine. Welcome.
All right.
Thank you, Lydia. I love. I'm loving this so far. I wasn't sure about how it would work with having a contrast fabric, but I'm feeling it. I'm here for it. And so I'm going to have one sleeve is going to be this green color too, and one is going to be black. So we're going to see how it turns out. Okay, so we all have to stand corrected. Lisa checked, and she said it is February 3rd. So anybody going to DC Fractales, it is February 3rd. Lisa, your word is bond, so we're going to take your word for it. We will all be there on February 3rd.
That's a Saturday, so.
It's a Saturday. Okay, so that's probably the right date, February 3rd. Okay. All right, we are moving on to our next step, which is that we're going to finish the upper edge of our collar. So we are literally going to serge around in a circle around this upper edge, which I love because then you get to seal in all the edges of those serge ends that you just put together, creating this neck. So we are going to literally go in a circle around our neckline, and we're going to have a nice serge. So if you look at this one, if you can see it, I don't know if you can see it, but if you can, the neckline is serged all the way around. You don't really see it because when I wear it, I tuck it under like this, which is what you are supposed to do. And then you're supposed to tack it down, but I have not, because guess what? I like options, and I didn't know if I would want to wear it up sometimes if I did not tack it down. And I don't think I'll be tacking this one down either, to be honest with you, because I think I always like options.
I like to put a little clip on my exposed seam for the direction it should be facing. So the front one should be facing the left when you go to serge it around, and the back seam, we pressed it to the right. Yeah, okay. Just so that once you serge it, it's still going in the correct direction. And then the shoulder seams, I just put them to the back. I don't think that there was a direction.
So say it again. How do you make sure that your seams are in the right direction?
So here's the front. And when we pressed it towards the right. So this way. So I just put a clip up here so I know when I'm about to put it under the serger, this seam needs to be laying that way.
Got it.
Because once you go to serge, the seams will flip away naturally.
They go whatever way they want to go. Okay, that's a great idea.
Shoulder seams towards the back.
You do them towards the back. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so much talent retreat in the DMV in July. Fun.
Oh, yes. Lisa, I will be there as well. Did I get my ticket? Yes, I got my ticket. I'm going. So I will see you there. I'm excited about that also. So Angela, have you started working on your outfit for Fractales? you can't decide what you want to wear. I haven't even started yet either. I've made so much stuff recently that I'm excited to wear. So we will see. Oh. My phone said die. So we're gonna. And Lisa, I had so much fun at the So Much Challenge retreat last year. Like, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Like, it was just fun. It was great to see people and just sew and work on things together. The learning opportunity, it was just great. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Is it a weekend retreat? What exactly is it?
Yeah, it was Thursday through Sunday.
Who's it hosted by?
So it's Miss Alethea from So Much Talent.
Okay.
So they did it in Atlanta last year.
That's when you all were there.
Okay. Yeah, yes, that's when we all were there. And so this year they are doing it here in the DMV area. So I had such a great time. I think what I liked about it was that it was a small enough group. It wasn't small, but it was a small enough group where you really could just interact with people in a very personal way, and just kind of like, I mean, it's for guys too, so I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but it was just kind of like with girls hanging out, ladies hanging out.
Ladies,
but it was just that energy was just amazing, and so I was just like, I love this.
Yeah.
So,
community.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Angela, what I'm gonna wear. I'm like you. I am also on the fence, and we are, you and I we'll figure it out before that day. All right, neckline is done. I'm about to press it around. Again, this is intended to be tucked under, just for the record. So you have that fold line, that chalk line that we marked. You are technically going to fold it under like this, and then you should be tacking it at the seams, but I do not plan to do that. But for now, I'm going to press it open. Just going to put a little press on it, and let me see. Right. So now we are moving on to the next step, which, what it says is for us to fold down the collar and basically kind of press it. So you would need, if you're going to do this step, which I'm not going to do this step because I don't plan on tacking mine down, but I'm just going to tell you like what they're recommending that you do, which is, if you have like a ham, or which one is this called? I forget. I forget. But anyway, if you have one of these cushiony things, the bigger one is called a ham, or you can use really anything. If you have a arm ironing board or something, they basically want you to take your neck, put it inside of your neck, and the ham probably would be bigger because it's probably going to fit, but you don't want to overstretch it either. And then fold this down. Oh, sorry. We got to turn it on the wrong side. Sorry. Yeah. Turn it wrong side out. So let me correct that. I'm not going to do it because I'm not doing mine that way. But you're gonna, oh, I guess I can because we don't have the size.
Yeah, I was about to say
much easier. Okay, so you're gonna turn it wrong side out. So this is wrong side out. This is what you're gonna do if you are folding and tacking that side down, which we're gonna talk about, even though we're both not doing it. But you're gonna fold it wrong side out. So again, you're not gonna see the seams. That's how you know it's the wrong side. You're gonna take your ham or your, anything that you have that can be ironed or pressed that you can put inside. And you are then going to fold down. You're going to fold down that neckline to that fold line or that chalk, because that's where it should be. And you're going to literally press that all around. And then you're going to either tack it down. And if you're going to tack it, what I would recommend is that you do it right at the seams.
Mm-hmm.
You do it right at the seams. And you can either hand stitch it down, but I would do it right at both the seams on the shoulder seams.
I kind of when I did it, I just kind of picked up the serger thread or serge edge and stitched super close and then turned it back over on top.
Oh, okay. So that's another great way to be able to tack it down. But you want to press it first. And if you don't have a ham or I forget what this other one was called, but if you don't have one of these, you take a towel, roll it up, stick it in there. That's another thing that you could do. Or if you have a sleeve iron.
Make sure before we start back up, you turn it back to right sides out. Right sides out before we start back up.
You could also use a sleeve iron.
Yes.
The things you accumulate when you start sewing. This is why I'm not buying anything else, because ask me how many times I've used that sleeve iron. It's less than this. Okay, so thank you, Danesha. Make sure you turn it right side out, because you will be looking at this like, oh, it looks so good. That's how I'm looking at it right now. Like, oh, this looks so good.
Right.
The intention is for the seams to be exposed. Or in my case, the intention is going to be that this is going to be two-sided. And so however I'm feeling is what side I'm going to wear. Okay, here we go. So our next step is that we are going to, on the front of the garment, we're going to, did we do this? I think we actually skipped a step. We did.
Is there supposed to be some gathering?
Yes. So there we are. So there are supposed to be a stay stitch in the shoulders in the arm hole of the front of the front pattern pieces on the front and left side.
I went and grabbed my back pattern piece. I was like, it's not on there. I know there's stay stitching, because if you even go to line up your first notch on the side, you will see that it does not.
Line up.
So I knew there was gathering.
So we skipped that step. It is in the beginning, because I remember doing it for the first one, and however we skipped it. That's my fault. Yes. Okay, but it's never too late, because guess what? We haven't connected.
Perfect.
So we're going to do a stay stitch. And so basically what the stay stitch is it's a stitch that is in your seam allowance that will be kind of hidden when you are stitching the sleeves onto the armhole. And so you're going to stitch it basically because we already connected the pieces, technically you would be going from one edge of your armhole to the other edge of your armhole.
There was a stay stitch. Oh, that's not what okay.
Yeah. And it says a stay stitch, but it's interesting because they do want you to kind of pull that stitch. So typically a stay stitch is like length of a regular stitch. So usually when you have to do some gathering or adjustment, you use a basting stitch because it's much looser, to your point. So we're going to revise this because we know the right thing to do. Instead, it says a stay stitch, but we're going to do a much looser stitch because it does require you to do some adjustment when you are trying to match up your front and back. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell everyone to take your front and back, and you want to be careful because typically you do this stitch before you connect the front and back. So it goes from one end to the other, but because we already connected at the shoulder seam, we don't have that ability to be able to do it unless you're thinking something different, Danesha.
I don't remember fully doing a stitch from there to there. I felt like I did it from like the notch down and then just gathered. I can't really remember.
Oh, let me see. Let me read it. Let me look at it. So it says on the front of the garment, pull on the stay stitching threads to adjust. Okay, so let me go back and look at, because you know what, when I did it, I actually, and maybe I did the whole thing. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like I did the whole thing. All right, let's push pause. Can we push the pause button really quick? Pause. Okay, let me go back. All right, let's see. 10. Let's see where that part is. That part is.
Oh, real quick, hello to my TikTok. We are making the Roxanne Vikisews dress. And so far, we're connecting our front and our back.
Where is it?
Hi. Yeah. Oh,
I can't find that part.
let me see if I can pull it up.
Well, we're gonna follow your instructions because you've made this. But you know what? Even when you look on the pictures, it shows it for the entire armhole.
Okay. I'm like, I feel like
I don't know if you could see it, but I'm just gonna hold it up really close. Let me just hold it up to both sides. I don't know if you could see it, but it's showing it. That whole arm.
Okay.
Can you see it with the little strings at the top, the little tails of the
It's
string?
hard to see for it being that dark. I think I can.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm opening it too right now. Just
okay. Let me see.
Look, Roxanne instructions. I just want to refresh myself on what I did because I know, but I'm like, I don't know what I did actually. All right.
Oh yeah. So here it says using a 4mm stitch on the sewing machine.
I did.
They stitch the arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. On the front and back pieces at 8mm from the edge. So it's the edge, right?
I think that we can just essentially do that, but just start right after our seam that we already did. I do remember that, and because it's 4mm, I keep saying milliliters. It's similar to a base stitch. We just go to 5, and this is 4, so it's still going to give us the give to move it in. So basically, only working on the front piece, we're going to go to the arm sis, and right after where we sewed the shoulder seams together, you can start right after there and run a stitch at 4mm down the edge. And you want to stay within your seam allowance, or basically right at it. Does it tell you how far in to do it?
It just says from edge to edge.
Okay.
So you're basically going to be, oh no, it doesn't tell you how far in, but I usually always do it within my seam allowance whenever I'm any kind of basting stay stitch, because you typically want those to be hidden. They are, just kind of helping you make and construct the garment. In this case, because our seams are showing, you just, they're not necessarily going to be hidden. So you want to try to make sure you use matching thread for this particular part, because it's not done for aesthetics. It's done more for construction. Unlike these seams, who are done for construction and aesthetics for how it looks. Okay, so so we're doing
front piece
here from right here.
Real quick to show. I'm gonna still keep my stitch long.
And then on this side, same thing. Boom. All the way around. Okay, I'm doing that right now. Let me just turn it around. And
this would say to not backstitch at the end because that's the only way to be able to adjust it.
Yeah, so typically I would think you won't, because if you backstitching, you're not going to be able to
pull it and
pull
adjust.
it. So you don't want to backstitch at the end. You just want to do that stitch. And so I'm going to make mine at 5.
Perfect.
My width at 5 and length, sorry, at 5. And it also tells us to do it on the back as well.
Okay.
It's the front and the back. So you do want to also, just for those, you want to pull some thread out initially so you have something to pull. So you're starting right after your seam. Or at least that's how I typically would do it. Yeah. Pull a little bit out of your thread out so you have something to pull on to create gathering. I will be honest with you, I didn't have that much to gather when I put the other one together.
Yeah. Same.
And again, you're doing it right in your seam allowance.
All right, one side done.
So here's how it looks. Did it right in the seam allowance, and then you have a little bit of thread left at the end. Oops. And the same thing, you have a little bit of thread up here, which mine got caught in my
All right, mine's might be a little harder to see because it's so close to the color, but there it is with some tails.
I didn't hold my thread, so it got tangled in there when I stitched. Forgot about that. So I'm just picking it out.
No problem. We'll read ahead a little bit. Let's see. That's where the gather happens.
Yeah, I didn't really have, I mean, if you...
It was barely like any...
It's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Now I just need to...
Yes, on TikTok, I am making another version, another colorway of the same dress that is on my mannequin, but this time in burgundy.
Okay. So Larisha asked, Larisha, what did you mean by seam? Oh, were you trying to help?
Saying the name, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay, here we go. I'm still doing mine because, of course, I have to change my color thread.
You're good. There, let me look back at it. The front seam. So you will need your front sleeve pattern for reference, is what it says.
Right, here we go.
Hopefully this idea. My friend was like, hopefully this pattern is in her size.
Oh, well,
In my size. Love you.
looks like you sold for somebody.
Yes, Roxanne. So with Felicia, this is the Roxanne by Vikisews. Have you made it?
Has she made it?
I'm waiting for her answer.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like waiting to like, did you? Okay. I just had to grab my front sleeve pattern. So while LaShawn is switching out, you're gonna need your front sleeve pattern. Ooh. All right, and basically what you're gonna do is on the front side, let me see if I can get this. Yeah, we're going to the front. You're going to use this as a guide. Line up that first notch with the notch on your paper pattern. And you're only taking it up just a little bit to make it even. It's literally so slight, you'll barely recognize it. So here it is. I line up my notches that are cut. See how it hangs off just a little bit? I'm going to gather in this small piece. So like here. That's it. So simple. So, boom. Ever so slight gather. It's so small, you don't even notice. It's literally like barely gathered.
Okay. So let me get my
Front sleeve piece.
front sleeve piece. Okay. This is the back sleeve. So I'm gonna put this to the side. And let me grab my front sleeve pieces. And how did you show me how you laid yours?
Okay. So let me do the other side. Is this the front? Yes. Yes. Okay. So you're going to line up the bottom notch on the pattern piece with the bottom notch on your fabric. And then you just gather the fabric until it meets the edge of the pattern piece.
Got it. That's, so let me see. Right, here's my notch.
It's ever so slight.
Oh yeah, okay, so it's only a teeny bit, right?
Like,
I'm gonna pull it. So I'm just basically sliding the fabric up.
that's
Create a little teeny gather. And I'm going to match up that notch again. And it's perfect. There we go.
And a tip to make sure that it doesn't move is you can tie a knot with the loose threads at the end.
All right, let me do that because it will slide. I feel like it will slide.
It's so loose that it will literally just go back. And ever so slight with the knot because the knot can move it. So there we go. And there's my other one.
All right, so one side done. Now I'm going to flip to the other side, which might be easier to demo because it's a different color than the shirt I have on.
Ah, perfect. Hi, Kayla. Oh, never got an answer if she made the Roxanne or yet not, but she knew the name of it, so
Right.
possibly, or at least eyeing it. And hi, Kayla. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, I have a question. Is a serger needed? No, if you watch the prep video that I did, that's already on my channel, Classified Life. I show you how you can use a zigzag stitch to make this dress. And right now, we actually have someone making it with a zigzag stitch right now.
Which we are so excited to see.
Seriously.
Okay, there we go. So we have done that. I'm just going to tie this knot.
All right.
Ooh.
And Jacqueline, when you use your sewing machine, the pattern actually suggests the length and the width of the zigzag stitch that you should use to achieve the same type of fit, the same structure. It, of course, won't be the exact same look because a serger for thread looks different than a zigzag stitch. However, you will still have the same quality. And so I demo that with their suggested length and width of stitch. All right, so make sure our right sides are back out and our long sides are facing each other.
There we go. Thank you for reminding because we need to say that constantly. For me. For me. For me. That for me. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? We are moving right along. Our next step is we're going to place the front and back pieces wrong sides together, align the side edges, match our notches, and we are going to pin or clip, and we're going to stitch our side seams together, either using our overlocker or serger, or we're going to use the zigzag stitch if you're doing this on a sewing machine.
Okay, Felicia answered she has not made the Roxanne dress. Okay. It's a great make. And this video will be on our channel, so whenever you're ready.
That is, it is a very good make. Hi, Tydri. Tydri, where are you at? Are you back on TikTok?
Any more notches? It looks like I missed a notch right there.
All right, I am clipping my sides together right now. That I just need to look outside and see what's going on. Yep, that rain is still coming down. I'm like, I don't know if obsessed is the right word, but on my TV, my screensaver is the weather. When I'm not watching TV, which is majority of the time, the weather is like on my TV.
Keep in track. Will not catch you slipping. I said keep.
No, I'm like, but then when I see it, it's like I need to look outside to validate. On my TV.
Right, is this accurate?
Right. Is that what I'm seeing? Is that what I am seeing?
Yes. Apparently it was pouring rain here, but when I made it home today, thankfully it was not raining. I was like, whew.
Right. Thank goodness. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm not flying anywhere. I mean, I could drive to DC, but I feel like the weather over the next couple of days, if what they say is true, it's definitely going to have some impact on anybody flying for sure.
I'll be right at home.
Right. Not want to have to necessarily. This part of the time of the year is always difficult for travel, for me anyway.
Yes. And working in the industry, yes. Lots of rerouting, lots of waiting, lots of cancellations, lots of angry people. Naturally, I mean, I get it. Yes. Yes.
The risk of being stuck somewhere is high.
Much more likely.
Yes. So I'm like, I always think about that, like, will I get stuck?
Tell people this time of year, go a day before if you're trying to really get somewhere for something.
Yep, you said it. You said it.
I have to offer.
That's the right advice. That is the right advice. So, let's see, for whatever reason.
All right. One side clipped.
That. There we go. Actually, I don't just will serge it. All right, one side is clipped, and now we're going to clip the other side. And again, wrong sides together. I know I'm saying that a lot, but
it's important.
It's important because it's so easy to just look at the fabric and be like, oh, it's on the wrong side. Because you are not used to, seeing your seams exposed.
When I did this orange one, I sewed the back pieces with the right sides together, and it was serge, and I was like, yeah, there's absolutely no way. Well, once I think I did it twice. So the first time I unpicked all the serge threads, and the next time I was like, well, so the first time was with the front, and I unpicked everything, and the second time on the back, I was like, I guess I'm just gonna lose half an inch.
Right, because you're like, I'm cutting.
I cut that thing right off. It fits great though, because this orange one has a bit more stretch than these other rib knits that I'm using. I was like, whoo.
This is interesting you say that, because so with this one, so I sewed a size, I think 44 is what I did. And one that in this white one that I did, it is a little bit of a looser fit. It doesn't fit me as tight as I'd like it to be. So this one, because that's the size I bought, 44. I didn't make any adjustments to the pattern. What I did do is I just serged it a little bit more. I cut off some of the serge process, not a lot, just a little teeny bit.
Yeah.
Just so I could have a little bit of a tighter fit.
Oh yes, I didn't share what size. Well, let me see. I think I know what size I have, but I have it open real quick. Okay, actually, I guess I usually get a 42 in like non-stretch patterns from Vikisews, just because my hip measurement, and then I do the grading. But I'm sewing a 40 for anyone interested in knowing that. The measurements that I have in my head. Well, no, I recently took my measurements. So my bust is 35, my waist is 28, and my hip is 41. And I just sew a straight 40. I do trim a little bit as I serge, though.
I always think it's so helpful, and that's why I'm going to go back and do for a lot of my dresses. I think it's helpful when people are picking sizes to know like what size the person
is, yeah,
and what size they're sewing, because it's so helpful.
I agree. I remember when I was about to make Neff's cargo pants, I kind of went on and like it was helpful. There was like 2 women who actually share their measurements. Well, one I inboxed her because I was like, oh, her frame looks a little similar. Like I'm a bit more curvy, but like I'm interested to know if she made any alterations, and those pants came out perfect for me. Like the only thing I would say is I could have shaved off maybe another 1.5 inches off the waist, but like you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you. They fit amazing. So, and it was helpful because she shared like her exact measure. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Definitely makes a difference.
Yes. Let's see. Almost done.
about to start surging.
Same.
Here we go. So now we are officially surging our front. Booker said, I'm in Barbados. I landed in Trinidad because of the rain yesterday, and they had to refuel. Well, I hope you are. Oh, you said you're in Barbados, so you made it to Barbados. Well, good for you. Yeah, this weather is like really doing something right now. It's wreaking havoc everywhere. I'm traveling. Like I said, I'm traveling in March, and I'm like, please, let's not have any problems.
Usually it's a bit more calm down.
Jacqueline, I am definitely praying for y'all because I remember last time, I don't think it was Houston, I think it was Dallas, when we had that electrical outage for like, I think it was like a week or something.
Dallas was bad.
Yeah, it was
over an Arctic blast here in Houston. Wow.
All right, one side done. And now we're going to the other side. For those that are sewing along, how are you making out? Hi, Nikita. Thank you. I'm trying to get my other cameras like not here for it today. almost done.
Oh, I'll wait till you're done, actually.
It's looking good. I love it. Last little bit. All done.
I will say this is a great step to try this on for anyone using the sewing machine or even serging. If you want it tighter, this would be the place to like trim and take it in type thing. So I usually, well, the first time I made it, I tried it on at this step.
You want to try it on, or you want to?
I want to keep going.
Yes, let's keep. We can keep going. But I agree. I definitely agree.
The tightness of it, it takes me a while to work my way in and out of this dress. I won't even lie to y'all. So I'm like, try it on. I won't take it off.
Right.
And it also looks good sleeveless. I plan on making a version of it as it warms up. The first time I made it, I actually posted this orange one without the sleeves. It was just like a progress reel, and people went crazy. And I'm like, it's not even done.
Right.
It did look really good without the sleeves.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the sleeves then. But I totally agree with Danesha. If this your first time making it, you may want to try it on, because it'll be much easier to do an adjustment in terms of just kind of taking off of a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch off the side seams before you add the sleeves on it. Much easier adjustment to make if you need to, like, pinch it out because you're like, it's too loose here. It would be a great time to figure that part out. So Jacqueline asked us, how do we all get so good with sewing?
Practice.
Practice. That's literally what really helped me, is stumbling on the Black Sewing Network, finding a community of sewists where I could ask questions, and then just trying it and not being afraid to, make mistakes. Knock on all of this wood in my place right now. I haven't had to use my seam ripper. I'm even nervous to say it, but on just using my seam ripper. And there's many times where I've had to do it on live, where I've had to use my seam ripper where I make a mistake or whatever. But yeah, practice. That is really what it is, Jacqueline.
And I actually love that. I feel like, I've been sewing for 10 years, and over the 10 years, I now see more community on social media. So to LaShawn's point, Black Sewing Network, there's just so many sewists. And right now, a lot of people are sharing information. So there's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's always tips. There's just so much out there now that I feel like someone picking up a sewing machine now can learn faster than back when I started, when it was like scouring, trying to find just a simple tutorial on YouTube to like figure something out. The information is out there. So doing research, not being afraid to fail, and just continuously trying, and trying harder things that you might think are hard, that it's like, oh, wow, if you just go slow enough, you can do that. Like, so
Totally.
Just try. Yeah. Okay. Sleeves.
And if anybody ever, does try to make this dress, if you run into any problems, you definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me or Danesha. We want to support you as you're trying to make this. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't try to, overexert yourself. Like, just reach out to us. We are more than happy to assist you in any way that we can.
Yeah. All right. Let's see where we go from here.
Okay. So now next step is to get our front and sleeve and our back sleeve. So those are two separate pieces. So we're going to get our front sleeve and our back sleeve, and we're going to put them wrong sides together, and we're going to align the underarm seam edges and match the notches, and we're going to pin and stitch. So I'm going to show you exactly what that means. So I'm getting my front sleeve and my back sleeve. So this is the back.
It said we're starting with the underarm portion.
Oh yeah, am I in the wrong part? Let me see.
No, I just want to make sure. Yes, okay.
We are, yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna line the underarm seam, and then match the edges and the notches. So place the front sleeve and the back sleeves wrong side together. So that's the first step. So let me get. I'm just gonna use what I got in my sewing machine. I got the black.
The thinner one is your front sleeve. The thicker one is your back sleeve. You should have one of each. And we are working on this seam. This is the underarm seam.
Right.
Which would be the shorter side.
Let me just make sure that, okay, I have it on the right parts are together.
For your black fabric?
Yeah, because I want to make sure.
Same wax.
Yes, I want to make sure I don't have any problems. Okay, there we go.
So you should be looking at the right side of your fabric.
Okay, I got to think about it.
And you will keep the back sleeve, which is the thicker piece, facing up when you're serging or stitching. For the zigzag. That is the front. Yep. Okay. So the wider piece is the back, and that should be the one facing up that you should be looking at when you're serging. So when I go to serge, I will have this side up and serge like this. One's ready. Do my other one. Your arm sleeve.
Okay. All right, let me clip mine. Line the underarms, and I'm clipping. I don't know why this is giving me a hard time. All right. All right, I got one clip and now the other one. I'm always nervous because I'm like double checking myself because I'm like, I want to make sure I do not sew this on the wrong way.
Yes. Take your time.
I'm like, please don't let this be the wrong way. Because you have to think in your mind, like this, you know, you're sewing it with the right side out.
Yes. And just double check those colors one more time before you put it on the machine.
Right. That's what I'm about to do. I'm just pinning it and making sure, because part of the look that I'm going for is not to have opposite colors on the opposite.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the green with the green and the
black with the black.
I will be so sad if
it good?
Yes.
The shorter piece in the front.
Oh, no, it's not. Thank you. It was not. And I was holding it up there the wrong. That's why I'm like, I felt it in my system to like check it again. And I even have, it does have you make the notches so you know. And and I was even like this when I was sewing it before, which is I didn't make the mistake, but I just had this high sense of awareness of I'm going to sew it on the wrong side.
Definitely did. The first.
Right. I'm grateful that I didn't make the mistake, but I have this high sense of awareness. It's easy to make a mistake.
Very much. Backside up. Yes, I do.
It's going to be on the green side. Let me just scoot this over so everybody can see. I'm just going to stitch that and then anything on this side. Okay, so I'm doing this black first. I don't know what's going on with this thing. But here we go. I feel like this black, green, and the cream thread is like really, it's just going to be such a vibe.
Yeah.
Done. Do the other side. Hi, Mary. Hi, Mary Atkinson. Thank you. Sorry about that. Welcome. We're so glad to have you here. Hopefully you're still here. I'm just seeing that. Your comment. You said the Vikisews size always gets you. Yeah, you know what? Because the sizing it's like European sizing, but they do include the the U.S. sizing. You just have to look for it. But once I pick my right size, it usually tends to fit me pretty well.
Mm-hmm. I make minor adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, we are done with this, and now it's telling us to place the front. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go. Are you?
I was reading the same thing. No, you are right. It is press. That's exactly the right. Press the seam flat. I'm about to
the front, and then towards the front sleeve, which is the shorter piece.
Part. Yeah, the shorter edge. So, oh, I didn't mention this earlier, but so I normally don't hem on live. So the bottom hem, I usually do enough construction to put it on, to try it on and make sure that people have the basic instructions.
Okay.
So, like the finishing, I don't do it, usually do any kind of finishing unless it is required to construct the garment. But if it's something that's tricky, I will talk about it just to make sure that people know,
Okay.
like, this is what you have to do. But in this case, really the finishing is just the bottom hem. So,
and then this,
what is it?
do you hem this end?
Oh, the
It has you hem around from dot to.
Oh yes, I do that. Yes, I did do that. I did it. Well, I did do it.
You said
it's not. It's not it's not something that you necessarily have to do at this step. You can do it once the sleeve is all together. Yeah. So we can kind of move by that part.
All right, cool. I was
gonna
say that's more. It's a bit time consuming because you got to measure it out and fold.
Right. It's a bit, but it's not difficult to do.
It is not
at all.
Let me get my dots. I just realized I didn't get my dots.
So for those that are kind of like, oh, what are they talking about? This step at the bottom of the sleeve, you are basically hemming the bottom of the sleeve, but because it is curved, you just need to it takes a little bit more time because it's curved. So you are literally, kind of hemming. You're folding under, and you're like folding under this curved part. And also, just so that you're aware, it's not edge to edge. There's like a little opening so let me actually show you so you can see. On the sleeve, there is this little part that is like open. So you can see it's not a complete circle. It's like a little flap, I guess.
Yeah. So basically, because you're going to stop hemming by the circles and the circles end here. And so this will be open.
Right.
And you will have a finished hem down at the bottom of the sleeve. And then I'm sorry, I'm folding. Look at me, about to confuse y'all. Okay, there we go. Dot to dot. This will be a finished hem where you fold under and hem it. And then from here up, it will be the exposed stitch.
Right. So
we can just go ahead from dot and.
Right. And so you're going to have a dot like right here. And so when we go, which is the step that we're going to do next, you're basically going to serge from that dot all the way to the end, the top of the shoulder of the sleeve, the top of the shoulder all the way down to the dot. And then when you go to construct it, you're going to turn it wrong side out, and you're going to fold under. What is it, like 1/4 of an inch?
It's or 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of 6, 3/4. How do I explain? They have you fold up. Let me just double check. I believe it's double what the seam allowance is, which is 3/8 of an inch. Important sleeve back. That way the seam.
I definitely did not fold under that much.
You didn't?
No, I think I did 3/8 all the way around.
Okay. Yeah. So
but what did it say?
Working from the wrong side, chalk mark. Oh, that's why. Okay. So the guideline is you're working from the wrong side of the fabric.
Yes.
So your guideline is basically where the edge will meet. So let me come back and try to explain. I have it somewhere in one of these pieces.
Yeah, I remember you did it in your prep video.
Right. So I actually just realized I did it on the right side, not the wrong side, but that would have been helpful. Say for instance, this is your guide mark, this little white line. This is double your seam allowance, and you would fold to that line, which is 3/8 of an inch. So you're right, it's 3/8 of an inch. The guideline is just to know that your edge meets up the line.
Right. Okay.
A little easier.
So you're gonna fold under
You're
3/8 of an inch, and you're gonna press it first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are basically going to use a matching thread, and you're going to go to your sewing machine, and you're going to basically do a hem stitch all the way around until you get basically to that dot, which is where your serged part is going to begin.
Yes. I use a twin needle for my hem, but you can just hem it with a normal stitch.
Yeah, and I just did a straight. I didn't use a twin needle. I did. You can't see it because it's the same color, but I did a straight stitch. Is what I did. Okay, so Jacqueline asked, she said, when I'm looking at the completed garment size on a pattern, how do I come up with that number from my measurements? So when you're looking at the completed garment size, first of all, you're going to take your body measurements. You're going to take your bust measurement, you're going to take your waist measurement, and you're going to take your hip measurement. And some patterns have all three of those measurements depending on what garment it is that you're sewing. But if you're sewing something from the waist down, you will use your hip measurement and then make adjustments to your waist. If they don't align in the same size, and if you're doing the top, then obviously you would use your bust measurement to pick your size. But if, like, for example, if you're sewing a dress or a skirt and you know that the waist is larger than the waist, then you may need to pick a larger size, and then you're going to have to make adjustments to your bust area, for example, if it's smaller, and you pick a larger size based on your waist size. So Jacqueline, tell me if that is helpful.
I think just to add to that, I'm not sure if she's also talking about the finish measurements, but in case you are, so say for instance, my bust is 35 and the pattern size falls at 34.5, and I say I'm going to go with that pattern size. The finish measurement shows you how much ease is built into a pattern. So if you want a tighter fit and say 34.5, the finish measurement is 36 inches. That means I'm going to have 1.5 inches of ease around the bust area. If I don't want it that loose and I want it tighter, then I would go smaller.
Yes, no, that's great. Great point. And I would always, my recommendation is to use finished garment measurements when you are trying to decide what size you want, because most garments have ease built into it.
And a lot.
You want to know how it's going to fit on you, not just what it's going to be from one side, from the, circumference of the bust area, because you may not want it to fit that tight. You may want more ease in it, or more relaxed foot. So I would recommend that when you are choosing your pattern size, that you choose it from the finished garment size. And most of the time that is on the outside of the pattern. If it's a commercial pattern, every now and then it will be on the inside of the pattern, on the actual pattern pieces. So just be aware if you can't find it there, maybe. And that's where it might be good to go on YouTube, find people that have made it, particularly people that are close in measurement to your size, and say, hey, what size did you sew? Because I'm trying to find which works best for me. All right.
All right. Actually, I'm going to start at the top and end at the dot. Does it say which piece to have facing up? Okay. This time you'll have the right side of the front sleeve facing up, which is the shorter piece. So when you go to serge, you want to have
the shorter side facing up.
And I'm just putting my dots on because I realized I did not transfer those pieces.
I had to do them just now.
Just remember when you serge, you're stopping at the dot.
Do not forget.
Yeah, don't forget that because that is where you're going to hem. So I just transferred my dots over and now I'm about to serge.
Jacqueline, do you mean your hip size is never on the pattern, just like on the normal pattern size when you're choosing a size, or you mean so that you always go by your waist and your bust?
And it also could be that you sometimes patterns have two different, let's just say commercial patterns, they have two different numbers for the sizes. So I'm gonna give you an example, like, and sometimes they have three different pattern, sometimes they have multiple size ranges within a pattern number. To give you an example, you know, I get dressed and the one, you know, the pattern number might be 4, 5, 6, 7. That pattern number may have sizing from like sizes 4 to 12. And then they come with another pattern that might be 14 to 22. And then it might be another pattern of that same dress that could be 24 to 38 or something like that. And so you want to make sure that you're picking the correct pattern that your size range. So not sure if that's the issue, but I just want to.
And I think the way they differentiate the numbers is one's misses and one's women. So, and not every pattern comes in all the size ranges, but there's a certain number every time they release patterns that they choose a pattern to all the size ranges. And so, yes, it's always in the top left corner of the pattern envelope to show you. And then, because sometimes all the sizes, a lot of sizes might be on the back, but the range that's in the envelope
All right, one sleeve down, one to go.
Perfect.
We are almost
at the finish line.
Yeah, we are definitely at the finish line, people. We're at the finish line. So again, I'll just re-emphasize that this really is a quick sew. I think it's taken us a little bit longer because obviously it does, well, I'm gonna say obviously, but it does take longer sometimes to do it when you're on live because you're walking through each step and making sure that people understand. But when you're doing it on your own, especially, if you're watching this, you will likely have a much faster sew experience because we're working through some of these things with you. And I'm just going to do another check-in really quick for the people that are sewing along. How are you all doing? Just want to see where you are and if there's any questions that you have. All right, so our sleeves are put together, and
the next step is to press it flat and then press it towards the back, the seam that we just did, and the back is the larger or the wider piece.
Yes. There we go. So we're going to do a press and so you have to kind of open it up a little bit just so you're aware.
Yes.
You want to open it kind of like this so that you know. And again, you're pressing it, the seam towards the back, which is the wider piece.
Good over here. I'm a few steps behind because I need to stop for a few. I'm just watching now. We'll finish up later. Love it, Larisha.
Okay. And that's the other great thing about sewing on your own is that you can really sew at your own pace. Take your time. So there's no pressure to hurry up and finish it. One down.
One to go.
Right, one to go. Oh, it's coming together. So we literally, the last step is that we're going to do on this live sew along is to stitch the arms, the sleeves into the armholes. Again, we still have to do the hemming portion, which is at the bottom of the sleeve, which we just talked about, and then the hem to the bottom of the dress. But we're going to do those offline because you will get a feel for how it's supposed to look. And if you have any questions about the hemming process, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Again, you're going to press those seams towards the wider. I always feel like I don't say that word right. Wider.
Mm-hmm. This way.
I cannot wait to see everyone's
finish look.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, a quick thing that I like to, or that I noticed after sewing for a while, after mixing up my sleeve pieces a few times years back, is that double notches always go on the back of a sleeve and the back pieces of a garment, and single notches are always on the front. I'm gonna make a reel about that. Yes. Double notches on the back, single notch on the front. I learned that after a few failed sleeve insert attempts.
100%.
Very helpful to know.
100%. So
I believe we turned this. Let me double check.
now I feel like for this, we have to turn the dress. I think we turn it
The
upside down.
sleeve. Turn the sleeve, and then we're going to insert the sleeve into the dress.
Yes, there we go. I knew it was something a little bit different. So
Right.
you are turning your, as Danesha said, you are turning your sleeve right side, wrong side out.
So you should see you shouldn't see any of your stitching.
That's right. You're going to turn it wrong side out, no exposed seams. And you are going to take that. You're going to keep your dress with the right side out.
Move it into the hole.
And you're going to take your sleeve and you're going to place it, like Danesha said, in the hole.
Oh, look, I just explained the notches and I just realized this sleeve has a single notch. This has a double. I'm on the wrong side. So,
Yeah. So, and like you, mine has the double to the back. So once you get that sleeve, again, you're going to have your main dress right side facing out. Your sleeve, you're going to put the wrong side facing out, and then you're going to place it into the armhole. And
match your notches.
You're going to match your notches. And what I am right, you want to make sure that the double notches face to the back, the single notches to the front. And when I am pinning, I usually start, or clipping, I usually start with the seam that is under the arm and the seam that's on the top of the arm, and then I fill it in from there. Or really the top of the arm is the most important, because that's the one you're going to see more than anything else when it comes to seams. You also want to make sure that because your seam is going to be showing, you want to make sure that your seam, at least the top, is going in the right direction.
I'm still watching, but I'll finish the sleeves and hemming in the morning. Okay, Teresa, thank you for sticking around.
Yes, thank you. You did great, and I'm really, really excited to see what your finish looks like. And if you need you have any questions or you need any help,
reach out.
We are here. Yes, definitely.
Okay, lining up perfect. Notches. I love a seamless sleeve insert, and this is definitely a pattern where it is easy to put the sleeves in.
Yep, here we go. Everything is lining up.
When you make notches, do you snip into your fabric?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I definitely do.
All right. One sleeve pinned in.
Let's see. Okay, Angela, thank you. We will see you over on the Facebook side.
All right.
Thank y'all for hanging in there. Y'all are we are so appreciative that y'all are hanging in there. We appreciate all the likes and all the gifts on TikTok, all the comments. They definitely, all the questions really help, because not only do they help others that are listening and watching now, but they help people that will look and watch it later as well. So your questions are all really, really good ones. Okay, I'm just pulling my sleeve down. And now I'm going to also put my other sleeve in.
Right. Next one. All right. In there.
Oh, look. See, I was about to make a mistake and I was like, it's not working. Make sure when you put your sleeve in that you turn it.
Oh, with the cap up.
You want to make sure that, well, no, not that, turn your sleeve with the wrong side facing out.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Attach it
Woo.
the way. And I was like, wait a minute, it's not your, and this is why it's so good to look at, you know, the 2 notches. Are they in the back? Because that's where what kind of signaled to me, this isn't adding up. My 2 notches are not in the back.
Good catch.
So I look like, yeah. So, and this can happen not just with this pattern, not just with PDF patterns, but you know, the things that we're talking about now really apply to all kinds of patterns that you may sew.
Yes.
Ooh. Here we go. Thank you, Angela.
Right. Oh, where'd my sleeve go? Oh, there we go. Yes. You know what I should do?
My eye is
This
watering. Ugh. Here we go.
All right. I decided I forgot all about my Instagram, folks, trying to figure that one out, but I think
Oh, yeah.
perfect. So hello, Instagram. If you want to catch the full video, it will be saved on our YouTube channels. We are
Yes.
making Roxanne Vikisews dress. It's coming along wonderfully. I'm sure y'all have seen it. If you're over here on Instagram, I made 2 already. So thank you for tuning in for the 3rd one. All right, where's the back?
Absolutely.
The back. Perfect.
We are so close to the final try-ons.
Yes, putting our
Like the reward for hanging in there with us and is to get to see like a mini fashion show.
Yeah,
That's what I call it anyway.
I love it. Okay, let's pull this up. Perfect.
You said, I seen that look like something isn't right here. Yes, Mika, look, that's the universal, like, am I gonna have to use my seam ripper? Or in my case, the look was, you better get this right so you don't have to use a seam ripper. Yes, that was that look, Mika. And you know what's so crazy? Like, Mika, you know this because I'm sure you have been on, but sometimes, like, when we're doing it on live, the people who are watching sometimes can see you like in real life sewing it there, and you could, if you have an opportunity to look up, because it's happened to me, they're like, no, wait a minute,
wait.
Right. They see you like in real life kind of like making a mistake or you know doing something and like jump to your rescue. The question is, do you like look up in time to see
that rescue?
Right.
Yes.
I have gotten a lot better at like kind of monitoring the comments when I'm on like all these different platforms,
Yeah,
where they don't show up on StreamYard.
I know. I was like, oh, let me hop on Instagram and just like split my screen so I can see Instagram folks and see over here.
You're like, oh, wait a minute.
All right. Getting the hang of it. I wasn't ready at the beginning. I was like, okay, look, I got TikTok going, I got YouTube going, but now I'm like, okay, all right, we're doing it. All right, so I have my sleeves clipped in, and the most satisfying step, I mean, other than having for TikTok family
and Instagram family. We're not hemming on live. We talked about the hems on the sleeve if you watch it back. And then the hem on the bottom, very simple, just a normal turn up hem. So, or you can do it raw, you can serge it, you can do whatever you want because it's knit.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's use here. Line her up.
Make sure.
Boom, there we go. All right, make sure you don't catch any fabric under there. There we go.
All right, there we go. We are moving towards the serge.
Yes.
Wipe my face. Okay.
Shout out to you, LaShawn, going strong this late. I would have been asleep. Thank you. Rosalind said that over on Instagram. Thank you, Rosalind, for sticking. Well, at least you're sticking it out with us. So I guess shout out to all of us for staying up.
We appreciate it. Trust me, we appreciate you. Okay.
We're all in this together at this point.
Yes. Good effort. But this is, for those that aren't aware, this is literally our final step, just sewing in these,
Yes.
attaching the sleeves to the arms.
Don't leave if you want to see. I got one sleeve in. It's like
Okay, yay.
big reveal of pulling it out. Like, is it right? It is. It is. Yes. All right, let's get that out. One more to go. Here we go. Here we go. Go, go. Arva said, I am not leaving. Love it.
Right. You have made it this far. Like, we appreciate you for staying and hanging out. Oh, no, where we gonna put this? That way.
Beautiful.
All right, one sleeve in.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
And now we're doing the other one. You finished, Danesha?
I am. Checking the seams out. I'm like, did they line up? They did.
I know, like, that's always.
It's easier when you're not serging, because then I just kind of, my hack for lining up like underarm seams and other seams is basting first, making sure it lines up, and then stitching. I mean, obviously we're serging, so it's like,
Yeah.
nah.
I'm hoping that I have as much success.
Yes, yes. Clear up some space.
And then once you finish, you just pull those sleeves out. When you finish that serge step. And you are basically all right. I am done.
Yay!
Yay. Okay. Now it's time for the big reveal.
Oh, all right. Just getting some stuff out the way. There we go.
So I'm gonna go and put this on.
Same.
Thank you all for like hanging in there with us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let me get this on.
All right, I'll be right back. Okay. This Danesha's still putting hers on. Okay, so here is the final look. I have to still press the sides. I didn't press them all the way so they lay flat, but this is the finished look. Let me just, I gotta move this out the way so you can really see. Let me see, does that make it any better? That might make it a little bit closer, a little bit better. Okay. So let's see. Can you see? Let me just, I'm gonna put this down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. And let me see. I'm gonna move this out the way.
Pretty bad, but I'm gonna move this out the way so I can actually show y'all.
See. That. I love it. I feel like it looks, and I feel like that little bit that I took off, that little is giving me the look that I really want to have. So very happy about that little adjustment. I mean, when I say I took off just a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit. When I did that during the serging process. It's crazy because I made this dress, I think I made it on Christmas Eve. And I think I made it the day before Christmas Eve. But yeah, I really like it a lot. And I have it on with I don't know if you can see, but I have on some open toe. I might wear this tomorrow. I think I'm going to wear this. So I'm just going to press it so these lay down flat, which they will. Like whatever direction. I didn't press these arms, as you all know, but the rest and the sides, I don't think I pressed those so good.
I love yours. I love the contrast. I did it all in one. Let me move my mannequin out of my spot.
Yes.
So
thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Shishi.
Both of you look stunning.
Thank you, Mika. Thank you, Peach. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Larisha. Angela, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ross.
I love it a lot.
Version. I didn't grab my shoes, but I have some burgundy sneakers, some Nikes. Perfect. Just a whole monochromatic look.
I love it. I love it. I definitely love that like, it's like a raspberry.
Yeah, that's a good color. That's a good.
Yes, that's what it is. It's like a raspberry. So we'd like to really thank you all for joining us. Any last minute questions? Any last minute questions? Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Arva. Thank you for hanging in there. Yes, Mika, I love the fit. It's perfect. It is perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Definitely like it. And I love the color blocking. I love it. Love it a lot. So once I press it, like those seams will lay down really nicely. So especially at the shoulders, they'll lay down really well.
I think the only thing, thank you, TikTok fam. Only thing for me, with this dress, I will say, I should learn by now, I've made 3 of them, is the neck hole. It's a bit challenging when I have like bigger hairstyles. So that's what took me so long.
That the neck hole is a little,
it gives you the look, so.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can stretch it out. And the great thing about knit is that it's a little forgiving.
Yes.
So you're not gonna, but just know that it is, if you have like big hair, you're gonna be working.
Yeah.
Working to get it on a little bit. But to get the look, it is worth it. It is definitely worth it. And I don't think YouTube and Facebook can see the shoes like I think TikTok can see. But it looks very good with some open toe shoes. So I will likely wear open toe shoes tomorrow. Yes, in the middle of the winter, we do wear open toe shoes. So we'll be doing that.
Love it.
Tomorrow. As long as it's not snowing, that's what we'll be doing. Low rain doesn't hurt anything.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Miss Tata. Thank you.
I see some questions over on YouTube. So yes, the seams are supposed to show. That's the whole thing with this dress is exposed seams, which is why it's so important to make sure your seams are lined up before you sew or serge.
and to just really pay attention that you're putting the wrong sides together and not the right sides, so you can actually see the seams. And then this pattern is, again, Vikisews Roxanne dress, both of these. And it can be found on Vikisews website. It's an English version. And if you purchase the English version, which that's probably what you're going to purchase, you can save 20% off using code CLASSIFIED, CLASSYFIED. I'll drop it in the chat one last time. 20% off, and yes, Vikisews Roxanne.
Absolutely. You said it would look good with some boots also. I'm definitely going to try with some boots. I have some perfect black boots that I could wear this with. And so I'm going to try both because I love to look good, but I like to be comfortable even more. So I don't like to be cold. So I will definitely be trying on with some boots as well. Just join, you're wearing the dress on the wrong side. Hi, Adele. So this dress is meant to have the pattern, the seams exposed. So we sewed this with intention that the seams would be exposed. So the great thing about this dress is that the way I like to look at it is that it is reversible. It has the potential to be reversible. The two key parts are how you hem the bottom of the dress, which I plan on doing a surged hem, which is going to maintain this whole look, and then how you do the edge of the sleeves as well. Because if you follow the directions, then technically it's not reversible, but I think you can work around that, around that piece. So
we both actually used rib knit.
Yes.
So not ponte, but rib knit. And the pattern will tell you about the percentage of stretch that you're looking for, how to measure stretch and all of that to make sure you have the proper fabric for the pattern, because not enough stretch, it's not going to fit. Too much stretch, it's going to be loose.
It's going to be loose, right? So Mika asked, when we post our final look picture, can we post it with us wearing it one on both sides, like both sides?
Oh, you see the reverse?
Yeah, reverse. So post it, and we definitely can do that. So, and I think it would be good for people to really see, like, hey, because I like the other side of it, even though I haven't tried it on. I just looked as we were making it, constructing it. I'm like, oh, I love this.
Yeah, so the other side. I actually might just finish this one. I haven't done that. I've hemmed both of the ones I've already made with a normal hem, but I'm actually intrigued. I really love the burgundy. I might just edge, stick, or finish with serger thread.
A serge all around. I'm thinking, it's so funny you say that, because I was actually thinking about the same thing.
Yeah, it's
all around. Yeah, we will definitely post both side by side, so you can get a look to see like how they're different and how this is kind of like a reversible dress, kind of maybe not intended to be that way, but could definitely be made that way. Great idea. Hi, Aisha, welcome.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you said that's what we thought we were doing. Yeah, that was my intention for sure. I'm like, okay, definitely. I really like it a lot. Let's see. Any other questions? All right. Well, we are going to wrap up. Danesha, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Those that are on YouTube, please make sure you follow Danesha Classified Life, Classy.
Yep.
CLASSYFIED Life, LIFE on YouTube. Make sure you follow her. And definitely, if you haven't gotten this dress, you can get the dress on Vikisews.com and use code CLASSIFIED, CLASSYFIED, to save 20% off of the pattern. So make sure you get it. If you need that information, you're going to find it, one, in the chat on our YouTube. You're going to see it in there, so you can scroll there, but you're also going to find it on our Instagrams and all of our platforms. Danesha, any last words? Or
thank you for having me. This was a pleasure. I had so much fun. I love this version of the dress. This actually might be my favorite of all three. So I'm so happy that I joined you to make this. Also, if anyone's following me, or anyone is from YouTube from my live, please make sure you go follow So Sophisticated Designs. Let's Get Social. So on Instagram, correct?
Let's Get Social. Yes.
Sophisticated Designs, and then your handle on YouTube is Let's Get Social.
Let's Get Social.
All right.
SEWCIAL.
Yes, social with a like sewing, SEW. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. She does this every Friday. And she has some fire patterns lined up. Like literally, if I was available, I would be there to make the Malika again. And yes, follow her there. Instagram, it's tagged in all my things, but I'm going to post again. It was so much fun chatting with you guys and going with you guys.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one last thing, if you do use the code, make sure you do all caps, classified, all caps, and you also need to have an account. So you need to just sign up with your email to get your account, and then you will be able to use that code to get your 20% off this pattern. And it's not just this pattern, it's also next week's pattern, which is the Malika skirt that we will be doing. It's also a Vikisews pattern. So if you plan on getting it, might as well throw them both in because you can only use the 20% off code one time. So throw them both in, get both these dresses or dress in the skirt, and we will see you next Friday at 7 o'clock. Thank you so much, Danesha.
Of course. And one last thing, if you already use my code, because I have people write me like, I can only use it. I can't, it's not working. You can only use it once, but on Vikisews' website, or I'm sorry, Instagram, they have a highlight of all ambassadors. Because one thing about me, I'm supporting Black always. Jessica, code Jessica. If you've already used Classified, you can use Jessica, Jessica. She is a fellow sewist who is also Black. And so support her, use her code. And if you've already used both of ours, check that out for other ambassadors to use their codes because we love to save.
Yes, we do. We love our coins. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Stay dry. See you next week. Bye.